Buddy, welcome to Gamesline's podcast. We are live once again, streaming for you. We're here. Thank you so much, everybody, for the patience, and thank you for being here. Thank you for listening, and if you're listening later on, thank you for checking us out. I'm John. I'm hosting once again, and with me this week are a cavalcade of genius gamers. We have Crystal. You're here. You're back once again.
That's
Hello.
me, the bird-brained genius Crystal.
I mean, I don't know if I want to argue with that because normally bird brain is bad, but you got a bird image. Something to think about.
The
Bird image.
bird intelligence has really been rehabilitated. Birds are considered smart now.
That's true.
That is true. Yeah.
They're-
Rose, you're here. You have
Hi.
your model going. Hello.
Yep,
How's it going?
I'm trying. Yep, it's working. I think.
Looks fine so far. You know. And Nicholas, you're here as well. Welcome.
Yes, hello. That scene in Gravity Falls where Seuss is like showing Dipper how he sleeps inside the closet and he has to like make his body into a Tetris piece so he doesn't get burned by the pipes. That's what I'm doing so that these microphones are actually picking up my audio. It is very fun. I don't think I've ever done a recording like this before, but I appreciate it. Oh boy.
I'm
That's
sorry.
me. Hi.
I'm sorry.
Don't worry.
I hope we can figure that out soon, because I don't want you contorting yourself into horrible bone breaking contortions.
I feel like that's what we make Maverick do sometimes for the anime podcast.
That's
the way he sounds like he's like trying to guard against the police all the time.
Don't worry.
Outside the window.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, gaming has once again occurred this week, and that means we have to talk about it. We have to go over all this bullshit that continues to occur in the gaming realm, because it's not going to stop, and I'd rather us just talk about it and do something good with it. Because if we're not going to, nobody is.
Or something evil.
Not this time. Maybe next time. We'll see. Depends on if we think they deserve it or not. They kind of deserve it. Now that I think about it, they kind of do. Anyway, gaming. Let's see here. So, I guess we could kind of just get the big things from this week out of the way, because there were a few big releases. And I mean, I've only played one of the big releases because it was free. But I don't know. Do we want to discuss? Do we want to go person by person? How are we feeling? Or we just want to hop into talking about the horse gotcha or what?
The horse gotcha.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the
That's
horse?
the big game. I mean, if
One
you
of them.
want to. I
mean, I don't know.
It's just you and me.
I mean, I don't know. Did anyone play Hideo Kojima presents Walking on Sunshine 2?
I did.
Oh, okay. You know, there's all kinds of stuff we could talk about. I don't know. Let's just check in. Rose, it's been a hot minute since you've been on this show. What's going on with you in general? What's new? What's going on?
I'm big into Hello Kitty Island Adventure right now. That's kind of my main game.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of a crazy game. We just edited Franny's big RuneScape piece, right? And I told her while we were editing it, like, did you know that Hello Kitty Island Adventure has a Pride event? Even they have a Pride event. It was like a real like, damn, RuneScape, come on, thing. But I was really blown away that it had a Pride event in that damn Hello Kitty game. That game is weird because it's almost like an Animal Crossing. It's very much a reaction to that New Horizons, right? With the island aesthetic and the crafting and everything. But it's more like, I wouldn't even say it's like a Stardew Valley style game. It's just like a weird, like, you ever heard the game Cozy Grove? Probably not. I talked about it like years ago. But it was this game where
it's not exactly a name that inspires a lot of originality, I suppose.
Yeah.
But, you know.
It was a pretty original game, like all things
back
considered.
then, yeah.
Yeah, it was like the idea was basically you log into this game once a day, and you do things for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes or so, and then you sort of log out. And I think that's the mentality they went for with this game. So it's like this interesting thing of like, yeah, it's just a thing like you can do more stuff in it. You can do crafting, you can do like all this other stuff, but like really you can just sort of treat it as this thing you check in once a day. And I think that's pretty nice because it's very all low key stuff and you're just sort of seeing Sanrio creatures doing cute things.
Which is essential, I feel, to just like having a good video
peaceful
game,
life. Yeah, a good video game and a peaceful life.
Absolutely.
I think that it's really funny that Agretsuko is in that game because this is a very like a Western oriented game when they made it. I think it was made by a Western developer. So, but it's like they have Agretsuko, but Agretsuko is very, very new, all things considered. And everyone else in that game is like at least 20 years old. So you have like all of these like, we're all friends. And then they put Agretsuko on like a magma volcano island all by herself. And she's just like, work will kill me one day. Work will kill me one day. And it's like, this is very odd. Like she doesn't have any of the, like when she shows up, it's just really funny. They're like, oh, hey, you're here, Agretsuko. It's like, versus like, oh, Tuxedo Sam, we're so happy you're here making the gay pride float. We love you so much, Tuxedo Sam. It's a really funny game.
It does sound pretty funny.
It's just I've been enjoying it. I've been surprised because I thought that it would be very kids oriented and I would get like the cuteness out of it, but nothing else. But I honestly don't think it's very kids oriented. I think it's really Sanrio fan oriented, and the writing reflects that because the writing is all like, I don't like the style of writing where you sort of do the irreverent, like making fun of stuff, like the like, hey, like I'm going to complain that you're sending me on a side quest that you see a lot. But at the same time, it's kind of really funny to see all the Hello Kitty characters doing that stuff all the time. So
yeah, that's a little funny.
It feels like it's feeding for a older audience though, with that style of writing, which is really weird. It was an Apple Arcade game, and I can't imagine playing this game on a phone. I'll say that much because it's very much like you have a bunch of controls.
Oh yeah, God, I can't imagine.
I don't know. People who play phone games are built different. I'll say that much. People who play the action games on phones have like immense power.
I can't imagine. We do have a question in chat here. Cello Buster asks, Rose, do you have any comment on Cinema Roll being overthrown by Pom Pom Purin in the character
in the
ranking?
American victory? It makes good. I love Cinema Roll, but I think Cinema Roll has won like every year for the last like 6 years or something. That it's just like, spread the love around. Because
that's a very mature stance that you have there.
Well, this year even I didn't vote for Cinnamon in the Japanese poll when they did it. Wow. I voted for Hanamaru, who's an up and comer. I'm a big fan of him. He's like a little guy who does the swirly check mark they put on children's grade school stuff. And the idea behind his character is he's going around to sad adults and giving them the little happy check mark to tell them they're doing good in life.
Oh, okay, so it's like how like people are always like, man, if I got like good job stickers when I did something right.
Exactly.
I mean,
he's very cute.
It probably worked for me, honestly.
I think
someone else just came over. Yeah, like I have my planner right here. If someone came over and just put a good job sticker on my planner every time I had a good, oh my God, I'd be good.
Yeah, see? Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's a great character concept for the modern era.
Absolutely.
The only other thing I'll say about this game is that Hello Kitty crashes the plane at the beginning. And that's how you land on the island. And I didn't know that. And I thought that was really absurd. Everyone seems kind of upset about it, but then they kind of just move past it.
I wouldn't trust. Is there a Sanrio character that you would trust with flying a plane?
So Cinnamon was flying the plane, but then Hello Kitty started a cake machine, and the cakes just started hitting everyone in the fucking head.
Okay, so Hello Kitty was not piloting.
No,
she did cause a
she was the
result.
Accident. Yeah, she did cause it.
That's And she's still the mascot. They're
She's still
still
the mascot. They let her open a cake shop even after that. They were like, fuck it. More cakes. You've proven they can be so good.
Yeah, that's fucked. I don't stand by that whatsoever. It's disgusting. Thank you for letting us know about Hello Kitty Island. Didn't even have her friggin' name on it. Like, come
I know.
on.
Well, it is her island adventure, isn't it? She really made sure it was hers.
I guess that's true. Can't argue with that. It's the consequences of Hello Kitty Island Adventure. All right, let's see here. Nicholas, it's been again a little bit since you've been in here.
Yup.
Oh, hang on. We're having a bit of a technical issue. Okay, all right, we'll keep going. All right, Nicholas, yeah, we'll talk to you. What's going on in your neck of the woods? Do you have any non-gaming things you wish to discuss? Or gaming things?
In non-gaming terms, I've been spending a lot of time just doing a bunch of cool 3D modeling and animation and the like.
Hell
My
yeah.
laptop, which was a very good laptop, I had all my files and games and everything saved on it, died. And it didn't just die; it died like 2 ways over. It died first off, the battery couldn't hold a charge unless it was plugged in actively. So, and then at a point, it stopped being able to even do that. I had to plug it in for like overnight, and then I could use it 30 minutes a day. And then it got so bad that it like there was some key thing that it needed to automatically input, and I had to go on my Microsoft account to figure that out so I could manually input it. And it's not on there because I got this computer from someone else like half a decade ago, and that person is now dead. So it's like there's no way I'm getting into this thing. All the games and files I have on there are gonzo, except for the ones that I ported over for my own game. It is it is done. That thing is done. So I've been trying to get a bunch of stuff reinstalled, remade, that sort of thing, which has not left me with a whole lot of time for intensive games. The only ones
Mm.
I've played or started recently were I finished a couple routes of Undertale Yellow, and I started playing Final Fantasy 12. But aside from that, it's mostly just been getting my creative juices flowing again and getting used to like having to do art and modeling on this entirely new computer until my next machine actually comes in,
Hmm.
which will be in about
So,
a week or two.
so I don't know too much about Undertale Yellow. Like, I know it's a fan game, and I've heard a lot of people saying I I remember when it came out, there were a lot of people that were like, "Oh, this is really good," and I feel like there's been kind of a reversal of that recently because of Deltarune chapters 3 and 4 coming out, which might be like people just being a little unreasonable and being like, "Oh, this fan game isn't as good as the legit game that's also a sequel to the game that they're all that." So, how do you feel about Undertale Yellow? I mean, did you get around to Deltarune yet, or
I haven't gotten to chapters 3 and 4 yet. I've heard
Okay.
that chapter 4 is the kind of thing that I like from these games, so I will probably check it out soon-ish. But I don't know why I went with Yellow instead of just continuing on from where I was in Deltarune.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
I
sometimes
really
you just have the urge, you know?
Yeah, but I really enjoyed Yellow. I thought it was a pretty fun little free experience. More Undertale battles with their own gimmicks is always a nice thing.
Mhm.
I It was a lot more well, how do I phrase this in a way that doesn't sound like I'm discounting Undertale? It was a lot more character driven in the way a traditional RPG is. Like, I like a lot of Undertale's characters, but it's like, wow, Papyrus sure is funny when I'm going through Snowden and like the 2 or so other times I see him. Wow, I really like seeing Undyne in her specific part of the game, whereas Yellow like focuses a lot more on here's this small cast of 5 or so characters that are going to be with you throughout the entire game after you meet them. And I really appreciated that about it. Story was
Sure.
a lot more focused on these individual character stories, which was very nice. Uh, I don't think it was as funny as the actual Undertale games, but I mean, it works in this game's favor since it's more focused on that sort of traditional character story, which was very nice. A lot of stuff I
Okay.
was impressed by too. The final boss of the neutral route, which is it's one of those things where it's like I don't want to spoil the kind of thing it is, even to someone who has no interest in the game, because it really is like such an amazing moment of holy shit, this can just happen in a game. People can make a thing like this and give it to me for free online. That's insane. But yeah, I'd say I enjoyed it a lot. It was a very fun, short little experience as someone who likes the serious side of Undertale more than the funny side.
Would you say that it had a lot of the gamified, or how do I put this? The game diversity like that Undertale or a Deltarune has, where they're just constantly shifting around like the perspective or the like weird little mini game ideas stuff.
There's not as much of that. It's Hmm, how do I put this? Because the game obviously doesn't have like colored soul variations for its
Uh huh.
bosses like Undertale did. Because you can't do that. It's Undertale Yellow. You're focusing on this one character. But like it still does very stuff around. Like there's one boss that'll give you a shield for its gameplay, and you have to actually like block stuff from them. One of them will tie
All
you
right.
up, and your movement's limited. But outside of those big specific cases where it manages to keep that sort of stuff, and it's even more varied in Undertale in some ways. Like one boss has you just play a rhythm mini game instead of actually doing the normal fighting style. But on the whole, it's not super minigamey. Each
Mm-hmm.
area will have at max like 3 or 4 of those traditional Undertale style puzzles. There are a couple little things, but it's much more consistently traditional than something like Deltarune is. I'd say it's about on level with the original Undertale and how much it varies stuff up gameplay wise. It's not like Deltarune Chapter 2 where it feels like there's more mini games than there are battle encounters with normal enemies,
Wait until
which
you
I
see three.
appreciate. I like
Yeah.
I like the bullet board stuff in Undertale.
Mm-hmm. The transition of Undertale and Deltarune from Earthbound to at this stage, I'm just like it's WarioWare almost is crazy. And I love it, honestly, but it's fascinating.
Yeah. It definitely feels like Undertale Yellow feels like it actually wants to have some level of being an RPG to it, whereas at times it
Mm-hmm.
feels like Deltarune really could not care less about any of its actual RPG mechanics, which is fine because like it's got a bunch of mini games, it's got its own things to it. But like in Undertale Yellow, you can actually tell your stats matter consistently, and it's like worth checking in with your equipment and everything and seeing what items you bring into battle, and I like that a lot. But there was kind of the trade-off of stuff like axe not particularly mattering sometimes. Like in most bosses, you might as well just be hitting the spare button over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably my biggest complaint with it, but I also think the acting system in Undertale never advances to a point I'd particularly like it too much.
Yeah,
But
like Deltarune is where they started mixing that up more with the like specific mini game things you do to trigger the spare.
yeah. Like in Undertale, the most complex it gets is I think the greater dog fight where you have to do this chain of like 10 different acts in the correct order. And I think that's probably the most intense it ever gets in the series as a whole, and Undertale Yellow is not an exception to that. But I don't think it's fair to criticize a fan game for that when it's just a thing the series consistently has and doesn't
Yeah.
focus on super hard.
Mhm.
That would be an unfair expectation to have. But on the whole, I liked it a lot.
Mhm. Let's see. Crystal, do you have anything that you want to check in with? Any updates for the listeners, or do you just want to talk games?
I want to talk games.
All right, then hit us with a game. What's been going on with gaming?
I was playing the 1985 Maze Action arcade game, I'm Sorry, which is like a political cartoon of a game
Okay.
criticizing the, at the time, recent Prime Minister of Japan, Kakue Tanaka. I don't really know what Tanaka's deal is. It could be that the criticism of this game is completely unfair, but I was just taken by the like it feels to me like those Flash games from the 2000s about George W. Bush. You remember those?
Yes.
I was just fascinated by the existence of that energy in a commercial product of the 80s arcade boom. Um, and
Yeah.
it's a pretty fun maze action game. It's much harder than Pac-Man. You really have to like press buttons a lot. You gotta jump. You don't mistime your jumps. You gotta knock out enemies by punching them with your big fist. Don't mistime your attacks because they will kill you very fast. Which I guess gives the energy of you're doing so much political corruption. You're embezzling so much money, but you're always one mistake away from getting caught. And I always like when a game has you play as an overtly greedy person instead of trying to justify your greed
Yep.
by telling you that the other people are bad guys and it's fine to take from them.
So I am looking into this, and the game was made because of a political controversy where between West Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, and Japan, and Lockheed. Just a bunch of
Say more on
bribes,
this.
and it just says that there was a bunch of bribes going on between Lockheed and all these other countries, and well, it seems it was more for their planes, specifically. I'm looking at Wikipedia right now. Okay, like Lockheed was like doing some like shady business, hiring like underworld figures and stuff to try to get in on the airlines, specifically like All Nippon Airways and stuff like that. And yeah, paid Kakue Tanaka a ton of 3 million yen, or no, $3 million, excuse me, 3 million USD in bribes for aid in getting that deal through.
Good for
So
him.
I don't know if I put it that way, but yeah. So they made this game to be like, hey, that was fucked up, I guess. It's really funny that it's just called I'm Sorry.
I'm sorry.
It's probably what he said.
Yeah, you know what?
If
Maybe.
I had to guess.
Well, there he is. He's going. He's chuckling.
Backlog.com claims that it's a pun because the Japanese word for prime minister is sorry, SORI.
Okay.
That makes sense.
That's
I
fine.
bet it felt good as hell to read the newspapers in 1985 and be like, this prime minister, he's so corrupt. Then you go to the bar, they got this arcade machine, and you get to play as him.
That's pretty wild. Yeah, I feel like
The bubble's bursting. You're just having so much fun.
Oh, it's
my
85.
God.
The bubble's
I guess
still
the
going
bubble's
strong.
going. Yeah, I guess so. Still got a couple years in them.
Yeah, it feels like these days there's like we wouldn't want to play a game like that, I think. But yeah, I mean, maybe if it was like, well, I guess the difference is like these days, like it's like it's not really like, oh, bribery. It's like, oh, here's more racism. You
I
can't
don't even
really
think
make a
it's
fun
that
gameplay loop. I don't know.
so much as the average game has become too complex for something like this, right?
That's
It's
true.
like the problem is that when they're creating this now, it's the Steam Sex with Hitler or whatever, right? It's like the epic. I have the
Sure.
epic Donald Trump AI game on Steam. Not so
Yeah,
much
that's true.
I'm gonna make a game where Donald Trump is Pac-Man or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Because I mean, someone probably made that in the 80s, even. Like, I don't know. That probably exists.
that exact
Yeah.
game.
Yeah. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, they probably programmed this game in like a month And
Yeah.
you can't do that with arcade games these days. Or maybe you can.
That's true.
What
Yeah.
am I saying? I don't know.
Well,
I
Yeah.
would say probably not.
yeah, I don't know. And also because like arcade releases are so different than like you could make something like that and put it out on itch.io or whatever, and like maybe it might gain some traction, but maybe it won't. It's just such a crapshoot these days. So many games are coming out, and like back then, it's like it was more of a thing to be like, oh yeah, here's this full arcade release where we're making fun of the prime minister.
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
mean, you had like 3 a month, right? It was
Yes, or something like that. I don't know. I can't fully tell you how Japan's arcade business went in the 80s, but
Well, that's it for I'm sorry.
all right, well, I'm glad that you introduced that because that's a very interesting topic. I'm glad that you talked about that for real.
it just
Um,
goes to show you there's so many evil games out there for you, Crystal, huh? There's just always going to be one more.
I wish there were more. That's what I'm saying. There's not enough evil games. It's always like the reason I like Assassin's Creed 4 is because it's the game that finally admits that you are a pirate. Because Ezio is also a pirate in Assassin's Creed 2, but they try to justify it
Well,
by
he's
saying
Italian.
he's Italian. That's true. Yeah. I don't like games that try to make you feel like a good guy. I want to be a bad guy.
I like being nice, and that's fucked up.
Being
See,
nice
the thing
is
is,
one of the most evil things you could do.
It's
I,
true.
I like being nice, but I also like to be a little devilish about it. I'm like, that's what I like to do.
I like being neutral.
Which is why I've been still playing Rido. I've been
Oh, yeah.
helping people, but also being a little devilish about it. Which I don't know. I don't have too much to talk about. There's some there. It's still good. The vibe is still immaculate. I don't really have much more to say other than what I was talking about last week. I didn't play too much. It's been kind of a busy week. But it's good.
I really want you to play Rido 2 after that, John. Maybe not immediately after, but in the future, because that I only played Rido 2 when I was younger, and I
Mhm.
didn't play Rido 1 because I found out it was a proof of concept. It was like their first action RPG, right? Like super fine, but it was the thing of like Rido
Yeah.
2 has the routes, right? The law, chaos,
Mhm.
etc.
Oh, it does. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Okay, I
Yeah.
didn't know that. That's cool. Okay, cool. Because like I'm, I own and I played a little bit of the original version of Rido 1, and yeah, it just the combat is real bad, especially compared to this.
Yeah.
So like yeah, like this was definitely a remake or remaster or whatever. That was
It may as well be a
very
remake.
welcome. It's a remake, but all that bullshit.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's like kept intact.
Yeah. That combat is super good. Well, I don't even know if I want to say super good. It's
But it's
comparatively, it's
yeah.
but
The bar
it's
was
solid.
low.
Yes, the bar was low. But yeah, I guess if we do want to talk about true evil,
Yeah.
we could talk about the newest gacha game on the market. We could do that. There were 2 gacha games that dropped at like the same time.
Yeah.
We got the Persona 5 one, and we also got the Uma Musume one, which Uma Musume was one that I played. That's the one that I actually interacted with. Are you yeah, Rose, you said you're playing it.
Yeah.
Nick and Crystal, you both aren't though.
I don't play gacha. That is what the new game is, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, it
correct.
is.
Yeah.
No, you're making a wise decision, perhaps. But
yeah, you're on the right path. It's that that is how that should be. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like I don't really condone gotcha as a concept, and it's bad and it takes advantage of people and all that. But so much of video games these days are that already anyway.
Yeah.
So I feel like just interacting with this medium has turned into that, and it's something that should be spoken out against, of course.
I will admit, I have that brain itch every so often. Like sometimes I'll see a character or a game that looks fine. It's like, do I break my streak? Like, ooh, that purple girl with the little glasses on her head from that one Hoyo game. I like that design. Do I go for it? I don't think I do though. Or oh, my friend's streaming Genshin. This game actually looks pretty nice visually. Do I go for it? I don't think I want to. It's like I don't. They don't look like the worst thing in the world. It's just an ideological thing. I don't want to. I don't want to be on that gotcha mindset. Actually, hang on. Let me see if I can find the ones.
I don't want to speak for John, but for me, and I assume this is the reason for John because of what these games are, there really is no comparison to the shotgun of insane character moments you get from gacha games. You just get to see the weirdest freaks say the fucking most insane shit just nonstop and just bounce off of each other in really fun ways.
Yeah, that is the major thing that I appreciate from these games is the character interaction. It is just nice to have all these wacky characters bouncing off of each other and having these moments, and I think Uma Musume does a really good job with that, at least so far. Like all the characters that they have in the initial run are fairly interesting. You know, there's a couple of characters that are just kind of like whatever, they just sort of exist, they're just there to be there and all that. Like, oh, this one is kind of slow, so she's the underdog, and so you're trying to raise her stats to make her better and all that.
The thing I was impressed by with this game, other than the fact it's a raising sim basically, like a princess maker style thing, and it has like a roguelike element to it, obviously, where they just want you to keep doing the weird things with meta progression, which is, I think, a really fun format for a game. But what impressed me the most was in all of these fucking gacha games, they have these stupid cards you equip on them. And I hate it in every gacha game. Every time I'm like, I don't want the damn cards. Faco has it, Honkai has it, whatever. But in this game, you equip it and it adds like story elements to the roguelike run.
Yes.
So it ends up feeling like, and you get a lot of them just playing normally, not like even rolling. So it's like you get to like do weird builds, and then those weird builds are like, it feels like you're creating a story almost with them for the overarching plot.
Yeah, like depending on which of the cards, because the cards that you're equipping are like other girls at the school, basically.
Yeah.
And it'll like introduce that, like the cards are like a new story involving each of the girls. So it'll be like it'll intertwine that into your career for your girl, and they'll become better friends potentially with that other character, or other stuff like that. It'll be like, oh, this character's good at speed, so when this pops up, maybe they'll get a boost in their speed, like baseline. But then based on how the story goes, it's like, oh, the story is actually about this character having a lot of guts. So then over time your guts go up, but like as you hit those story beats. Yeah, it just like depends on what the different factors and all that. And yeah, it's a little random because it's not gonna activate every time.
Yeah.
But it's neat. It's really neat. It's one of those things where like obviously I wish this wasn't a gacha game, but also there is a lot there where I haven't run into anything at all that's like this is this is getting in the way.
Like I mean,
I haven't.
The joke right now is what you use Sakura Bushin O to just win. You could just win if you just use the 1-star character because she just has like an insane speed growth or something. So it's like you don't need to like worry about thresholds the same way a lot of other gacha games can fall into those traps of like, well, you hit the part where it's hard now, so you.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think there will be a point maybe in the future where something will happen, but I mean, I'd have to like learn more about the game, and I know people who have been playing this game in like Japanese for years and years and years, and they talk it up a bunch and love the characters and all that. So, I'm sure if they have something to say, like, okay, here's the wall, then it'll be good to know that, and maybe I'll ask around. But like I just can't really see a way for there to be a wall, because it's just like you're just doing the raising sim aspects, and sometimes you'll roll good, sometimes you'll roll bad, and then if you roll bad and you can't finish it, then you just try again, and that's
And
like
you have the meta
literally it.
progression
Like,
stuff. So it's
yeah,
like the next time just becomes easier. Yeah, it's
yeah.
I don't know how they could mess it up either, because it's like, as an example, like in something like Honkai Star Rail, people talk about the meta all the time, but it's like it doesn't matter. But it does matter if you care about clearing the hardest fight or whatever. And I don't even know how there could be one of those in this, right? Like I don't even know how the Uma Musume
There's
format could allow for
there's
the
like
hardest thing.
PvP stuff kinda,
Ugh.
but
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, technically.
it's whatever. Like it's literally whatever.
So what is the monetization currently?
It's just the classic. You do 10 pulls to get a banner character, basically.
Yeah, it's just for the characters, and like again, like really because you only need one copy of the character. It's not one of those games where you need to like roll 5 of them.
Yeah.
And then once you have that character, you just have them, and you can use them in anything. And then also you could just use any, like there's nothing that's like you need to get this character because they're meta, and if you don't, you can't progress in the story. It's just like, no, you play through their career mode. So if you don't get a character, like you don't get to play through their career mode or whatever, but it's not like the entire game is just done for you until you do roll a better character. It's just like, no, just you just don't have that character, whatever. Which kind of sucks, but
from my perspective, the good element of gacha games and the bad elements of gacha games can't really be separated from each other, because the reason they hire the good artists and the good writers is because they have that gacha money. And this is
Yeah.
Games, right? So they have
yes.
they have a big bank to draw from.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Granblue
Again,
is the most evil game in the world.
yeah,
And
I mean,
because they have the most evil game in the world, they can now develop slightly less evil games.
Mm-hmm.
pretty much, yeah.
I mean, even like a lot of the AAA games coming out of Korea and China come from studios that made their initial money from gacha.
Yeah. And then they're also using their ill-gotten gains to make stuff like Apocalypse Hotel, which I'm not going to say no to that.
And Bravern.
And Bravern, yeah, good-ass anime. They're putting out some good anime.
Tell you what, though, the buffet at this casino is pretty delicious.
I mean, yeah.
Welcome to video games.
Welcome to video games. I wish it wasn't the case, but it's just like, this is just how it fucking is for everything these days. I don't know. I'm gonna continue to critique it. It would be great if I could just pay $60 and just or whatever.
I
just
was
own this.
so sad when the Arknights premium game they made, that was just a phone game that was $15, I think, or something, wasn't like good, for lack of a better word, because I was really hoping that would mark like a good shift in the focus.
Oh yeah, that their Enfield game. I think that's gonna be just free, right?
That one's just that's like dire. That's like scary stuff, because Arknights is like one of those games where I think most people who play it don't spend any money on it, like at all. And then Enfield looks like a Hoyo game. It just looks like a Hoyo game completely, like in every way. It's like,
yeah. I was in that beta. It was, there were some fun elements to it, but
yeah, it's interesting. It's like weird Factorio Xenoblade is an idea.
Yeah, that's like right up my alley. But there's other elements. Yeah, Maverick in the chat is saying that Uma is the most that I've felt that there's a game attached to one of these, having tried to get into any of these and not caring once the energy exhaustion hits at like 10 minutes of play. Yeah, exactly. Like, there's not really anything, like, there's no major, like, walls to playing. Like, you have like a certain amount of energy per day to do career mode runs, but it takes good while to get through a career mode. Like by the time you start a career mode and then you get to the end of it, it's like you're almost already charged all the way back up,
Yeah.
and it's not even like you use 30. You use like 30% of it. You don't even use the whole bar. So it's just like, yeah, you start a career mode, you're down to 70%, and then by the time you're done with it, it's like, oh, but you're at 100 again. It's like, okay, so I could just do it again as much as I want. All right. It's weird. Like again, like I wish I could just pay for it and not have to worry about it, because like I would like to just have all the characters, like I would just like to be able to play through the story with all these, because so far everyone that I've played with has at least had some cool moments, like even some of the characters where I'm just like, whatever, there's some fun moments that they have. So I'm not too beat up about playing through and all that, but I don't know, it's whatever.
I think in the future we'll get something closer to that, because I think that the Asian market for phone games and stuff like that, I think the Hoyo games, as evil as they are, have kind of shifted the vibe towards people want like actual games.
Mhm.
And then
Yeah.
they're going to keep releasing these Tower of Fantasies over the next few years that just fizzle out and disappear.
Mhm.
But then I think on the flip side, you also have people being like, oh, I can make a real game. I can make a normal ass game. And
Yeah.
I think there was a good article I read. I tried to find it recently. I think it was on Game Industry or something. But it was talking about how the market is shifting towards investment in specifically just single player games, just premium single player titles. And I hope that
Mhm.
that stays true, because that would be nice. Because I think, like, broadly speaking, in Asia, it's like a lot of people in China only have smartphones. They only have like in India, what PUBG is the most popular game in the world entirely,
Mhm.
because it's you play it on your smartphone and it's easy to do.
Mhm.
So if they can find a way to solve the fact that every phone game is evil, then
Yeah.
that would be really nice.
Yep. I mean, yeah, just like what Maverick again is saying in the chat, like, is it inherently evil? Yeah, not gonna argue against that, but I wish they'd make a new Monster Rancher. Like, yeah, it is scratching that Monster Rancher itch for me. That is 100% what
Yeah,
it
that
is. It
makes
is
sense.
just, yeah, because I fucking love Monster Rancher. I mean, they kind of did. They made Ultra Kaiju, but that is also kind of a slightly different thing. So, it's I would like for them to make a new Monster Rancher that is more like Monster Rancher 4 with like dungeon crawling and stuff. Please. That's what I want. I want
The
an actual
Ultraman
Monster Rancher
one
5.
is
It was
like when
good.
they have a Sentai anniversary season that's not the real season, right? Like it's like,
Exactly. Where it's like it's decent. There's good stuff in there, but it's not the full Monster Rancher experience, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, I mean, I guess yeah, one thing I guess we could say too about it is like, yeah, this game is pretty old too. Like this is
yeah. Even when
we've
it
been
came out
waiting
in Japan, it was old, right? Like they kept it in development hell for like 5 years or something. The anime came
something
out
like
years
that.
before it did.
Yeah, because one thing that I want to say that's like really funny is that every every time that they have every time you have a race, you can watch all the girls do a little concert, and it just feels so like I would say
Yeah.
fully out of place, because they are kind of presenting them as like, oh, they're kind of like idols like the entire time, but it's like it feels like something where it's just like I'm just skipping it every time, and like I don't see
To
anybody talking about them. Like I
yeah,
just see people talking about the racing, and because that's the actually interesting part. But then it's just like, oh, I guess they sing, whatever, I don't care.
to me it just felt like the I don't even know how to put this. It's like when you have like the guys who are like, we need to return to Rome, but for Love Live. That's how I feel every time I see it. I'm like, it's gone. The era has passed, man.
Yeah.
Move on. We're in the future.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a remnant of an old type of thing. And I mean, I wouldn't. It's one of those things where like I don't feel like scared to recommend it to people, but it's one of those things where just like, yeah, they do little dances, whatever. I guess I I want Germa to play this, but I don't want Germa to be like anime. Like I just want him to freak out about it like he does with Monster Rancher. You know, like I want him to be like, I need Gold Ship to win. I need him to freak out about Gold Ship.
If only the Mario Party game was good.
True. That's true. And also, if it wasn't fucking $50, however much it was way too much money. Oh my god. I don't know. Do we want to talk about some other stuff, or do we want to talk about some news? Because there's a decent amount of news here. What are you feeling?
I want to comment on something I checked real quick from when we were talking about the arcade game. I don't remember who it was, but someone mentioned like Trump with Pac-Man on Steam or something, hypothetically. But I looked that up. That is a game. That exact thing is a
Beautiful.
game.
Yeah, see?
Fantastic.
Okay, never mind. Everything's
Like,
fine.
identically. It's kind of insane. It's made in RPG Maker, and it's the first time I've seen an RPG Maker game with gameplay, like an
Yeah.
active gameplay mechanic that isn't the RPG. Because it's like there's stuff like Humanity and the like, which use the system to be something other than an RPG, but it's mostly focused on the environment and stuff. But like this is just actually Pac-Man in RPG Maker, and it's for Ronald J. Grump. So that's real
Sounds
funny.
great. Real humor. We've
Yo,
got
it's on sale right now.
Oh,
Yo,
thank you,
Steam Summer
Steam.
Sale hitting hard. It's in a bundle. You can get 2 games for $126.
I love it. We love it. We love
The
it.
Steam, I need someday, I need like a no clip or someone to just talk to the Steam submissions people and just be like, what I just want to see the 10-year time lapse, I want to see the 10-year time lapse of like, what is the threshold? How does the system work? Did it become more automated? Did it become less automated? Did it just like, what is going on here?
I mean, you could probably you could do the same thing with the Switch eShop and get that a lot faster.
And the PlayStation Shop, honestly.
Did you see how bad the Switch 2 eShop is? It's like somehow worse than the Steam one if you actually like just scroll through. It's insane. I don't know how they did that.
They let them do the thing where it's always, they have the sales tab, and then it's always, you can just set yourself to be on a perpetual forever sale of 1% off or 99% off, whatever. And it's just like, the thing I've loved recently was seeing the PlayStation Shop still has the thing where they keep changing whether the coming soon games is the farthest away game or the newest game, because all the AI sloth games they just let on there are just constantly changing their date so that they're always on the front page. It's crazy.
This is the kind of stuff I'll be releasing against if I ever finish my game. Oh boy.
It'll probably be fine.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why you can't hire a moderator. I think it's the easiest thing you could possibly do, but
Well, what would be the advantage of doing such a thing?
I didn't think about that. You're right. That's just money down the drain, basically.
Exactly.
For what?
I mean, is the Switch 2 even profitable as hardware? I think their money comes from cuts of software.
Oh, no. Nintendo's always profitable on their consoles.
Okay.
As the hardware.
Even still?
Oh, yeah. Always. I mean, if you saw how bad that display is for the Switch 2, it makes sense that people have been talking about recently. So.
Oh, wait a second. Steam actually, that's weird. I just checked Steam. It seems like they changed how they present their newest games category.
Yeah.
This is actually doing a not too horrible job of hiding how much of this. Oh, wait. Nope, right now it doesn't actually seem like there's too much AI slop. I'm impressed.
They're usually A/B testing a bunch of stuff on Steam, I've noticed, in terms of how their algorithm works and things like that, because some days the upcoming for me has been like just 17 porn games, even though I turned that setting off to show me them, and then other days it's like just AAA banger. Like I almost said bangers. That's not true. Don't say that ever. Not bangers.
Wait a sec, huh?
They're okay games.
But let's see here. Yeah, I guess we could do some news real quick. Let's see. We're talking about some AI slop. We could talk about how people are continuing to push back against AI slop, which is good. We love to hear that. Specifically, one of the success stories in pushing against it is Jurassic Park Evolution 3 was just using Gen AI to make portraits for the characters in the game. You know, like you're a little like, oh, here's like the scientist guy, here's your park ranger. They were just doing that, and a bunch of people complained about it, and now they're saying they're not going to do it. So, I mean, it remains to be seen if they are standing by that per se. But yeah, I mean, the fact is that there are still people who care out there in the communities and all that. And there's people that care at the companies in a sense, like
Yeah. Well, I mean,
the artists were probably like, hey, like people are gonna get pissed off about this, and then maybe some like higher up was like, well, I don't know, we'll see. And then as soon as everyone is pushing back against it, they'll be like, see, like everyone's pissed, don't do that. So hopefully more people being loud and pushing against it will keep it from propagating more and more.
I mean, the reality is just people need to fight back against this stuff more, because 90% of the time it really is just, hey, a producer on this project decided that he was going to put it in, and then he just put it in, right? Like that's
Yeah.
90% of what happens in these cases. This case is just so baffling because it's like, for the portraits, really? Like for the portraits that you usually pick like from a set of 20 like prefab sim avatars.
I'm pretty sure they don't even have it in Jurassic World Evolution 2 because I played that game and I'm pretty sure it just used like, that like little had the old default icon for YouTube comments where it was like this blue like bust with just the shoulders and the head directly above it. I'm pretty sure it was just straight up that in the second game. So my guess is that they like it wasn't something they decided was worth pouring resources into, but then they saw they had AI as a tool and they were like, oh, we can just like get this to make, I don't know, 20 illustrations real quick, throw these into the game as image files, and then just ship them out with that as a new feature that takes like an hour to generate and get implemented. So I would imagine they would just remove it from the released game. They might have been actual images in the second game, but it really doesn't matter if they are not important enough to warrant one way or the other. Which is why I'm surprised that, like, I'm not surprised that's what they used AI for, but I'm surprised if they were going to break the barrier and use AI, it was for something as small
It's
as
so
that.
stupid. Yeah, that's really what is
You don't
surprising,
need it.
because it's like, you understand. I don't like it, but you understand why that Everybody's Golf story that came out this week about them using generative AI. It's like, no, I can understand the intoxication of a producer to see, oh, we can make AI trees and they'll look better than any other tree that's ever existed in our golf game or whatever. Whereas this
Speed
is
tree
like,
already exists. Stop disrespecting
I
them.
know. It's honest work out there, Speed Tree.
Yeah, I just thought this was interesting as a sequel to our discussion last week, where Sakurai appeared to make some soft on AI comments. It doesn't seem like this is inevitable. It seems I have yet to hear of like a high profile success story of AI use. I'm sure that the eShop slop is profitable in its own way, but like not in this tier of game, really.
The real thing I think that's going to happen is, once again, it's like, as soon as OpenAI opens their you have to pay model, it's over, right? Like that's just the thing of it, is they're just trying to get as many people into the system, into weird contracts like this in Japan, that they can do stuff. And then it's like, on the Sakurai side of things, I mean, specifically with this stuff, it's just like, everyone has the grifter come in for the Monday meeting and he goes, hey, I have a great new system. But
yeah, it's one of those things where it's just like I understand why these like from the producer mindset, It's like, well, nobody really cares that much about these portraits, so we could just throw it in and nobody's gonna care and we can save money on it. Like, in theory, that makes sense, but then it's just like people will immediately see that and then they'll be like, that looks cheap, that looks bad. So no, now we've brought attention to it, so it looks bad. And then also, like, so many people now know how much AI steals, how much AI takes from the environment and all that. So it's just like, it from a business standpoint, it makes sense, but then just on any kind of other like optics standpoint, it's like, no, it's bad. So it makes sense why like stuff like that will be, like snuck in there, and then when people realize it, it gets taken out because then the optics are bad.
Well, I don't get why they do the portrait specific. Like, okay, let's say I'm the big businessman and I want like AI used to save money on game development, right? What I'm going to go for first is I'm going to go for stuff that people won't notice it on. Like, I'm going to say, okay, can you make this rock texture that's going to be placed on this object basically randomly and no one's going to pay attention to? Can you make that AI? Can you make this like leaf texture? Can you just ask it for leaves and then we'll put that on a flat surface, like the polygons, and we'll just like UV map these on? I'm not going to be like, okay, here's this human that people are going to identify mistakes on. Here's this newspaper that people are going to read and be like, why does nothing in here look like a letter? Huh, that's odd. What,
I
huh, does
Because
this
they
game use
because they
AI or
don't think about
something?
it.
I think in
They
this
don't care.
case the production pipeline cycle for this game was probably several years, and Steam only recently added that thing like late last year that makes you disclose when you use
Mhm.
AI. So it was probably a thing of they really thought like they won't be able to tell, and there
Mhm.
would be plausible deniability in place before Steam implemented that feature. But now they have to say like, hey, and that's how people tuned in and found out in the first place.
Mhm. Yeah. Same with the everybody's golf thing, which like again, yeah, like that's like what you're mentioning is that, it like if Steam didn't if they didn't have to call that out on Steam, I don't think anyone would have noticed because they're trees. Nobody's really going to be looking at that. But now that it's been brought to attention, people are think it's gross. So it's just better optics to not do it. But yeah, they said that they are. Let me see here if there's a specific quote. Yeah, just yeah, just people in the Steam community thread just saying, imagine having the foresight to not try and have serious self-control or even critical thinking skills as a human thing to not do this. So then, yeah, Frontier just said we have opted to remove the use of the scientist portraits, generative AI for them within Jurassic World Evolution 3. So yeah, makes sense to me. Let's see here. All right. Some more business news here, real quick. Some good and some bad, both on the Microsoft side. We'll start off with the good, I suppose. ZeniMax's union has ratified their contract, which let me see. When did that union start? When did they vote to become unionized? I think that was last year.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's been in the works for even longer, but
Right. Um. Oh no, this was.
it was only recent.
Okay, the union was formed in 2023. They reached an
Yeah.
agreement to be recognized last month, and then their contract was hammered out this past week. It's all ratified and everything. So 300 QA workers that are represented by 3 different unions in Maryland and Texas. And Microsoft signed a labor neutrality agreement with the CWA ahead of the Activision Blizzard merger, which smooths out that process, I suppose. And I will say that, but this did come from a strike that was authorized in April. ZeniMax did vote to authorize a strike, but did they go through with it?
They did not go through with it, no.
Yeah, well, yeah, they ended up not. Well, yeah, it was 3 months later they have the contract, so yeah, the strike did
Yeah.
not need to actually go through, which that's good news.
You do
We have
like
a
to see
quote.
success off of just threat of strike
Yeah.
instead of years of striking.
Yes. We got a quote here from Paige Branson from ZeniMax United. QA workers from across the country continue to lead the charge for industry-wide change. Going toe-to-toe with one of the largest corporations in the world isn't a small feat. It's a monumental victory for all current game workers and for those that come after. Very true. Big agree. However, go ahead.
Sorry, go on.
Oh, I was just going to move on to the next bit of Microsoft news.
Me as well. This is all
Yeah.
happening concurrently with Xbox planning its fourth major round of layoffs in 18 months.
Which, seeing how Xbox is going these days, it's frustrating, but it's not too surprising. Where like it's just such a strange, bizarre, just overall corporate like division, I suppose. Yeah, like it's just very strange. So this isn't 100% confirmed. Bloomberg is reporting on it, but they're saying that they are expecting, quote, substantial cuts to be made across the Xbox division. There's some rumors that entire like studios are going to get closed down. Something that was pointed out was they might be consolidating a lot of their European markets. Like instead of having a bunch of different sectors in like a bunch of different countries, it'll just be like, oh, here's like this area is just covered by this one office kind of thing. But yeah, that's supposedly coming up in the next week or so. If it does, Microsoft hasn't commented on any of this. But yeah, this is the GameDeveloper.com article says it is the fourth round of layoffs in 18 months, which is fucking crazy. And they're always really big rounds of layoffs. Like, yeah, like beginning of last year was 1,900 people, and then in May they laid off. Oh no, and that was when they closed down like Tango and Arcane, Austin, and all that. And then in September they laid off another 650 people. So it's just like, yeah, it's crazy that they're doing so many layoffs like that. But
I mean, who has to worry if the FTC is never going to go after you, right?
Yep. If only we had
remember-
a government that worked.
There were provisions in that agreement of them buying. I remember Bethesda, not even Activision, that was talking about like you can't be laying people off. But I bet those all have expired by now. Probably they're probably like, oh, just you can't lay off people for 2 years or something.
Putting myself in the mindset of an investor,
Uh-huh.
I understand they're trying to claw back some money from the Activision Blizzard acquisition. 4 major layoffs in 18 months, closing down a bunch of studios, not to me a sign of a growing business.
No.
You have to wonder what it is, if it's just a case of like, do they want to just shift entirely to contract work? It's entirely like that's how they made that last Halo game. That's probably how they'll make the new Halo game. Is just like literally 90% workforce of contractors, and a lot of their gaming stuff is based around sectors of the country where the contract work is, I would say, incentivized.
Yeah. All this to say, Xbox is weak, and therefore you should keep boycotting.
Well, yeah, I mean that goes without saying that it's that is also part of it, is that they are still under the the BDS boycott request. But yeah, it's such a mess. I guess
I
we'll
can't.
find out more about it this coming week.
I know it doesn't mean anything, to be clear. It never means anything. Kind of surprised Phil Spencer is still up there. Like that's
Yeah.
kind of fucking crazy to me. Like they killed Don Matrick like instantly. Like they pulled a gun on him and sent him down to Brazil like immediately. Like it's crazy that he's still out there.
It's weird because it's like, I guess, because he heralded in Game Pass, and I feel like Game Pass is what they want Xbox to be. Like I still stand by my claim that I think that they're going to do one more actual piece of hardware, and then they're just going to do Game Passes on PlayStation and Nintendo's next console and your TV and your PC, and like they're gearing up for that already. Like they're doing that ROG Ally thing that is just basically gonna be a Game Pass machine. Like that's just what they're gonna do. And so I think that is why they haven't gotten rid of him, is because they're just like, well, he's set us up for the future. That is, what we're doing. So, even after all these consoles crash and burn, we lose a bunch of money there at the very least. Like in like 10 years, we still have Game Pass. I don't fucking know. I mean, I don't think that's right. I think that's stupid, but that's what I'd imagine their concept is, why they haven't pulled the trigger on that yet.
Yeah. I'm fascinated to see what happens with Game Pass going forward, just because it's never going to be profitable, and I feel like it right now is only succeeding because it's the type of thing you can lie to a shareholder about. Like you just show them the rising number and you go, look, hey, check it out. Number went up. Be happy.
If you go on the Wikipedia page, the arrow next to the members is green and going up. That means we're making money, guys.
Green like Xbox. It's brand synergy.
Yeah.
And like,
What, you want to be red like Nintendo and going down?
And like, if they put Game Pass on a Switch, would that mean Nintendo would take a cut of all that, which means their margins are even thinner?
Yeah, I wonder, because I don't actually know how those cloud versions of games work. For
not well.
Well, they don't work well, but I am curious. I mean, I imagine they work better in Japan, right? But I do wonder if they take a cut from that or not.
Right, like the fact that they're trying to expand Game Pass onto many different types of hardware suggests to me they have just about hit their limits of subscribers on their own hardware. And if they have to expand and other people have to take a cut from that, I don't really see a future for this.
I don't think there was ever a future for Game Pass. Like, I think it was always doomed at a certain level to just be eventually cast off. But I don't know. I don't know what the goal was with Game Pass on. I get what the goal was with Game Pass. I mean, like broader terms, like from a high like macro lens. I don't understand how they were like, yeah, this can be our main thing.
I mean,
everyone cancel their Game Pass.
I mean, yeah. Basically, it's just like, I would imagine that at first it was just like, well, we're gonna get more people to buy consoles because this is the only place you can get Game Pass. And then it was like, now they are like, actually, no, we want Game Pass on everything. And then, yeah, other people are going to be taking cuts from that. And it's just, it's a mess. It's a mess. Hop off it for multiple reasons, maybe, like just purchase your video games and also just hop off it for boycott reasons as well. Like, just, it's a mess. It's a mess. Let's see here. More games that have been going on. More games. Rose, tell us about how you're feeling about. Do you want to talk about Death Stranding?
Sure, why not?
2?
It did just come out.
It did.
I liked Death Stranding. I think my only problem with Death Stranding when it came out was misogyny. but that's kind of Kojima's bit, as it were. I
How
would not say-
misogynist is this one?
Well, just like the first game, the first woman you meet after Fragile in the game is called Mama, just in Spanish this time.
Isn't okay, so I thought there was already a mama in that game.
There is a Mama, but this time there's
Like
Madre.
in one. Oh, so there's a separate.
I'm saying like the first woman you meet outside of Fragile in the first game was a woman named Mama. And then in the second
Right.
game, the first woman you meet outside of Fragile is a
Is
woman
Madre.
named Mama. Madre. Who is also pregnant, in case you were wondering. But aside from that angle of it, I think it just feels like a more quality of life up Death Stranding. You get vehicles pretty quick. They do like a pretty organized tutorial compared to the original game, where I feel like the original game was very slow to hand you things. Like, I mean, I don't think you could build a bridge in Death Stranding until like 5 or 6 hours in or something like that. But in this game, it's like first 2 hours you can build a bridge.
Okay.
They give you a tricycle, which is immediately better than the weird car they give you that feels very like a Steam physics game car in that first game. They give the trike. The trike just works really good. There's new mechanics with like generators and stuff that make it feel pretty good to use. The change of pace from just I feel like the first game looks really good to me, but it's still a game that looks like Iceland, the country, which I think like has become the sort of default for a lot of sci-fi games. When
Yeah,
they're
very
making
gray.
a landscape. Yeah, the grays and greens, but like the pale green.
Mhm.
This starts in Mexico, and it's like you have just browns, but not like the browns you see everywhere else. Like I'm talking like sandy deserts, nice like things that change with lighting. You have rainforest type climates that you're going through. You have like
Okay.
mountains that you're climbing, and everything becomes really nice and like pale gray, but not like the same gray. You know, like a wintry mountain. Like you see that in the distance, and you start climbing, and it gets a little alpine.
Good baby.
The some crazy shit happens with that baby. I'll just say immediately. I think story wise, I feel like so Metal Gear Solid 5 is a game that I love, but it is a very reactionary video game. It is a game where he saw people complain about Metal Gear Solid 4 cutscenes, and he decided there should never be any more Metal Gear Solid 4 cutscenes.
Yeah.
And Death Stranding 2 is, I would not say it's toning down the cutscenes. I would just say that in terms of how it's delivering information and the ways that it has become more of a traditional video game with combat, like you can use guns on BTs immediately right from the get-go in the game instead of the weird like pseudo survival stuff you do before. It feels like him reacting to people playing Death Stranding and going like, this is too hard to understand. I don't know what's going on. I don't like, they have a codex now that's constantly updating, that they're like popping up on the top right of the screen every time someone says a proper noun and stuff like that. It feels like him being like, okay, I need to just be very direct, which makes sense why it's reviewed better, I would say. But
yeah, but the weird thing is he was going off like, oh, this one's gonna be more divisive. We had to make this game more divisive, and it sounds like it's less divisive than the first one.
I think it's definitely less divisive. I think like
what did they do?
It's weird that he thought that, just because it's like it is extremely. I think Crystal, you said it right. You said that it's more in line with the PlayStation lineup now in terms of like the sort of sensibilities it's leaning towards.
My heart sank when you told me that you can use guns on BTs in the first hour. Like, the problem with Death Stranding to me was not that it had too little action, it's that walking was too easy, right? You just hold the triggers and you walk and you'll basically never fall. And now that continues to be the case, and it's more of a Metal Gear action game, I guess.
I would say that in terms of the walking, so far at least, the fact that that game takes place primarily, so far at least for me, in Mexico and Australia, it's like you're going through terrain that is very different. And there being grass and constant like overflowing rivers and stuff like that that can randomly happen really changes up how you have to traverse and how you think
Mm.
about it. So I think they did go harder on that aspect at least in this one.
Okay.
But I would say that combat wise, it is absolutely this weird thing of like he felt like he had to now. Like there's bandit camps. There's bandit camps now everywhere. Like I know there were the mule camps sometimes in the first game, but I'm talking like they put a skull on the map and they're like kill 5 guys with your rubber bullets and
oh
then
my god, with rubber bullets?
well, you can't kill them or otherwise they'll trigger a void out.
Oh, that's also the thing that bothered me about Death Stranding is like it would be such an interesting trade-off if like yes, you could kill these guys, but you run the risk of a void out, but then rubber bullets just completely nullify that tension.
Yeah.
Mm.
I
mean, like, yeah, I've mostly just been hearing from people playing it and all that. I haven't gotten it yet, but I've been hearing that the combat feels a lot more like MGS5, like the hand-to-hand stuff.
yeah,
Would
like you
say
do
that
flying
too?
knee kicks on them and stuff.
Okay.
If I can butt in, because I've also been playing. Hi, I'm Scott, producer. Hey, I do think like the big thing when it's with like the first few hours of the game is it's trying to run you through basically all of the stuff from Death Stranding 1. Like,
Yeah, the first
in a
one
short,
before
in a
they...
in a short little bit.
Yeah.
So you get all the stuff like you get your guns and you get a trike really early on, and I think once you go from the shift from Mexico to Australia, like the landscape changes in such a way that like it makes the trike way less useful immediately and makes it like very deadly in a lot of situations for you to be driving it around, which I think is super smart because it encourages you to like abandon that and like try and go on foot instead.
Yeah, like even right from the get-go when you enter Australia, you could use your trike, sure, but like are you
Right.
really going to climb down this weird insane mountain with that?
Yeah, you basically go through like a mountain maze. It's crazy.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
It's no. I think it's like very cool and well considered in a lot of ways. But then like, you know, as soon as you get past that, you're back to, you know, building highways on like big open areas. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And that's what I enjoy about this game a lot. Is just like sitting there and just like doing these like big projects for just like for like community, like building strands with other people.
Yeah, that's the
But,
best
like,
part of Death Stranding, right? Like it's just you're constantly feeling like this connected, and this one has continued to make that feel really.
right. I love to as soon as I opened up the highways, I saw like most of the road was already built, and like I just had to go and contribute like, oh, they just need like 600 metals for this piece of the highway and then it's done. Okay, that sounds easy. I can go do that.
I mean, even just early on, it feels really good to have that Death Stranding thing of, hey, I put down a bridge thing, and oh god, I
Yes.
don't have enough to finish it. I'm gonna go get the stuff, and like you get halfway there, and then you get a notification that's like, hey, someone else already finished your bridge.
Yeah, I went and built a bunch of bridges in that Mexico area that leads to like that first place you go. I forget what it's called. The villa.
Ciudad del Norte.
The one
Or-
after,
oh,
the one that's like the one that has like
uh,
a bunch of rivers in between it. I was like, I just
La
want
Libra.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. I just want like a bunch of bridges to easily cross these rivers. And then I like put the game down. I came back a few hours later and saw my like social link experience went up to like 40 levels. Because
Yeah.
everyone loved using those bridges. It's really nice.
It
It's
feels really good.
the
It's
thing
like
no,
he
please
nailed
go.
it. I'd say he nailed it with that. Like he nailed the social aspect, I think, in a way
Yeah.
that I really hope I continue to see in more games, because I feel like more games are learning from that
Right.
more than just the divorced Dark Souls community feeling. Which, like, you know, Dark Souls community feeling is fun, but it's still the same thing of like seeing a guy's bloodstain isn't the same as you saw a
Right.
guy's ladder and you climbed it.
Exactly.
It feels really good.
There's one aspect of it I really hate though, is like the automatic supply requests that just keep pinging over and over again. And it's like
They're really odd.
They're so
also,
annoying.
from other players where they're like, "Give me a gun."
Yeah.
I mean, those ones are
it's
I can't figure out
the
how
system
useful it would even be.
there's a hypothetical world where a player puts down a supply request, right? And like you see it in your game, and you're like, okay, I'll put down a gun, and then I'll know that they'll get a gun in their world. But that's not what's happening, because you're automatically generating a new supply request basically like every like 3 minutes or so. And then like you're going someplace else. So even if someone did leave that there, it's not like it would actually be useful to you.
Yeah.
It's really
And
strange.
I think that though, if they do end up like locking them up for the boss fights, so that then they respawn as the boss fight ghosts that give you guns.
That would be cool. I love the boss fight ghosts.
I think that's
are
what's
great.
happening though, is what I'm saying. I think that
Right.
I think they're taking that for some of them.
It's really strange. It's really strange.
It's very odd.
I'm having a really fun time.
I am too. Like that's the thing is like I said, like my complaint about Death Stranding was the misogyny. That's all I say. Like that was my only problem with it.
Yeah.
Like, I loved everything else. I love I haven't seen enough of him yet to say if Italian Solid Snake will live up to Mads Mikkelsen is your dad ASMR. But...
Yeah, the immediate transition of like those sort of like same scenes where Mads was like, you know, rocking you as his child is like, man, it's just not the same. It really just isn't the same at all. It's like it feels like a major aspect of Death Stranding. It's just kind of gone in that same way, and it's weird because like there's a pretty there's a part where like you can choose the voice of a character to give you instructions, and they're all
fascinating
voices.
Part.
They're all voices from like they're voices from like characters in the last game. And I decided to pick like Die Hard Man because like I want him to like start instructing me again. I miss him. And it's like, okay. So like I accept Die Hardman again giving me weird instructions. And it's like knowing that that's like an optional thing, but also like it feels like a void that's left from Death Stranding, like that vibe. And like having that feeling back is really nice. And like knowing that it's like it weirdly doesn't do the same thing with other things is like I don't know. It's still loving it. The shift to a more action oriented game is strange because I thought like I really liked the action in Death Stranding 1. I liked that you could accidentally kill people. And you had to be like very considerate. So like that like taking that away from every like option you have is really strange. I don't know if it's 100% gone. I'm sure you could like, I don't know, accidentally run someone over or something and that'll kill,
or like drown them in a river or something.
Right. But also the thing with Death Stranding 1 was like they had those body disposal areas and I haven't found one of those yet. So
yeah.
Did they just get rid of that entire aspect of the game just because it was too obtuse? I don't know. I wish they.
Yeah, that's sort of the vibe I'm getting in broad so far. Is it's like a lot of the weird things are. But I mean, it's Kojima, so there's always infinite weird things.
Yeah, there's still as many weird things. Yeah, that's how I'm feeling about the game. I'm having fun.
I'm very positive on it. I have Doll Man with me now all the time.
I love Doll Man.
I love Doll Man. I love George Miller as Tar Man. I love what was the I love that the president of the United States, the new president of the United States, is Senator Armstrong's voice actor from Metal Gear Rising.
Really? I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah.
It's insane.
You get a similar vibe. Well, not exactly, not 100%, but you get like a similar vibe of ominousness from the jump as soon as you meet him. It is fun. I don't want to spoil. I don't want to spoil like too much from it, but like they introduced that character and they said, "Oh yeah, Die Hardman was the only president of the UCA, and he only lasted for like a day, basically. It was the shortest and only president ever."
Die Hardman.
I miss Die Hardman. I'm sure he'll come back.
Not Hartman, Dead Man. Dead Man scene is so beautiful in that game when you meet up with him in Mexico.
Yes.
It's a good. See, the thing is, every time a Kojima thing happens in this game, I'm like, hell, fucking yeah, brother.
It really does feel like we're back.
Are like a little like, okay, we don't need to go that far. We don't need to explain every little gameplay mechanic. The gameplay mechanic is the part that's getting me. Is not so much the other stuff. It's just that I have to explain to you now the gameplay mechanic.
Yeah, it happens so frequently, and it happens in parts where it's like, I don't even know why you're really doing this right now. Especially, I don't even know why you're explaining this again. Like, you can talk to Dollman like in your room, and it's like,
yeah, and he just does weird tutorials that you already know.
Yeah, it's like, and sometimes he'll have like an insightful conversation bit, and like there's an interesting like thing where Dollman is ostensibly trying to be your therapist. And that stuff is really interesting. And then it's like the next time you talk to him, he goes, "Oh, did you remember that you can take a shower whenever you want? Go ahead and press this triangle button on the door so you can go to the shower. So you can take a shower.
Did you know that you can drink tea on your nightstand? It's right there."
Okay, but that
one's a little more therapist. Yeah, that one's a little more therapist. Yeah.
I wish therapists could just remind you to take a shower by pressing the triangle button.
Scott, I have one question for you.
Yes.
He said that I could change his outfit. Is that true? Because I have not been presented with the option.
You can change the color of his outfit. Yeah, you just go to the customize menu, and there's a Dollman.
It is just on the customize menu. Okay, I couldn't find it the first time, but okay.
I haven't found like a different outfit for him you could put on him yet, but you can change the colors of his suit and stuff.
All right.
All right, well, thank you for the Death Stranding 2 check-in. I don't know. Do you want to just hit your? Do you want to talk about your Pinocchio DLC too, real quick?
It's
good. Because Lily talked about it last week, but tell us how you feel about it.
It feels like the Lies of P developers are locking in, and I think Lies of P was a very linear experience that I really appreciated for being super linear. After Elden Ring and some other more open sort Souls games. And I really appreciated that it was linear, but this feels like them going, okay, we can be linear and we can also do like branching paths and more crazy stuff. I think all of the weapons they add are similar to the old Hunters DLC for Bloodborne, where they just added a bunch of crazy weapons like the bow blade and the spinning wheel and stuff like that. And I think like these are like even on a level above those. Like the first weapon you get is a bow, and it's just a bow. It's not even a sword. They don't have the cop out of it's also a sword. You're jumping around with this stupid bow as Pinocchio and just launching shit at people. You have like a bunch of evasive rolls you get with it that feel really good. And then the second weapon you get are Wolverine claws. And you just do like crazy jumps and like multi-hit combos and stuff like that, and it just feels so good. And I've seen some of the other later weapons, and I know they also go crazy. So the boss fights, like the first major boss is a classic Souls game thing where there's two of them, but it's like Ludo narratively perfect, where it's a puppeteer with a puppet who you're fighting. So you're fighting her and her puppet.
Yeah.
And that's really fun. You fight kangaroos. You fight kangaroos and monkeys who are attacking you.
All right.
There's this moment where you watch a tragic cutscene from the past where someone finds the bloodied coat of their like dead protege, and they like swear revenge or whatever, and you watch Pinocchio walk into that same room and pick up the coat and go like, "Ooh, I could wear this." And I was like, "That's really not being Pinocchio-y."
Yeah.
I'm just so happy. I didn't think that like I would be that hype about a DLC, but it's so good. It's so well designed. It's designed like a 15-hour game or something like that. Like just more Lies of P. I think Dreams of D is going to be the best game ever made. That's how I feel right now playing this DLC.
So did they confirm that is what it's being called, or is that just
that's just what I call it. That's just what I call it.
Oh, that's you.
I came up with it. Yeah.
Okay.
I just think it makes sense given,
It does. Yeah. But I was just wondering if they were just like, yeah, it's Dreams of D.
No, they're just calling it the Lies of P successor. Apparently, according to their financial report, it's supposed to come out next year. So that's exciting.
Okay. Sure.
They seem to just be good at designing games at that studio, I would say, because Lies of P is like a crazy consistent work and looks really good.
Yeah. All right.
What would you like to see out of Dreams of D?
Summon class, basically. I think she should summon. Well, the Tin Man is Pinocchio, so can't do that. But the other ones, I would like to see her summon some other stuff.
Croak.
I just think like they don't have magic in Lies of P. That's the big Souls game thing it's missing. Is you just sort of have the Devil May Cry arms that you use. And I think like shifting over to a more magic oriented play style would be really interesting in terms of how that game works. So that's what I really want to see.
You could have a dog.
You could have a dog. That's true. If you just have Toto and the lion,
Toto mode,
and you're like, hey, I'm alternating between
cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria.
It's so good. It's so fucking good. I already got spoiled on who the final boss is of the DLC, and I am just like chef's kiss, beautiful. You can't do any better than that. Like that is exactly what I want. I love Pluto, the anime, so the manga series. That is what I would say about that. So really good, really good. I highly recommend if you liked Lies of P, fucking play it if you haven't. I bet you probably did, and you're probably already further than me.
Yeah, because I know Lily said she finished it. So
oh hell yeah.
Yeah, so when you're done, maybe you and Lily can chat.
Yeah, we need to get Maverick to fucking play it so we can do another spoiler cast.
Sure. Crystal, you want to hit us with what else you've been playing?
I played a game that gave me what I wanted from Death Stranding. And that game, you might have heard of it. It's the latest friend slop, Peak. A game about climbing a mountain with all your friends. And it's a game where the environment is difficult. It requires me to stand still and just sort of scan the environments and mentally build out a path. And sometimes that path doesn't work. Sometimes you think there's a path through this cave, but actually you get stuck and the lethal mist keeps rising and it's too late for you to get out. And you just have to sit there and await death while a ghost comforts you in your final moments. And I love it. It's also a game where you will make jumps that look like they're impossible, but if your friend is holding out their hands, they can grab you with a pretty good range and make that impossible jump possible. And that always feels amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty hype.
Power friendship.
Mm-hmm. So are you how does playing it in a group feel for you? Like, is it like, are you sitting in like a Discord, or is there like a built-in voice chat thing, like so you have to stick together, or how does that work?
There is a built-in proximity voice chat, which I highly recommend because the echoing that it does, the directional audio, is actually very useful for locating someone who is lost.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that makes sense.
I say it's proximity, but it actually goes for a pretty good distance. But because you're in a mountain, it echoes. It's very good for echolocating someone.
Okay, interesting.
I know we're calling it friend slop now, but I really have liked. I didn't expect that I would. I really don't like things like the getting over it or the change together game type stuff. But I really like I love Lethal Company. I love the Repo game I've been playing recently. That one's pretty fun. I like this idea. I like the proximity voice chat stuff. I think it makes for a really funny game 90% of the time.
I
It's
think
a neat concept. I want to try playing some games like that sometimes with you guys, since most friend groups I've been in, or just groups in general have been in, have at least played one or two of those. But I don't think I've gotten to play anything like that with you guys yet. I don't know if you guys do that either. It could be.
That's something we
used
can
to
set
do
up.
some more stuff, but we should honestly do that more. I think we did Lethal Company once, maybe.
Oh, you could stream it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or we could just have fun, you know? We could have some bonding time, you know? I'm not
It could be
opposed to
the
that.
official
But
Friend Slop podcast. Make a podcast. People listen to us playing and don't get to watch.
They have no idea what's
Yeah.
going on. They don't even know how
Oh,
someone died.
they scream.
Go get it,
"No!"
go.
That's real funny.
God, that'd be
John,
horrible.
have you seen the Pikmin mod for Lethal Company? Because it's so.
Oh, that mod is so cool.
I have not. I'm gonna hang on. Let's see. Lethal.
I just need you. You don't need to look it up now, but there's a beautiful trailer I can show you later.
I'm doing it right now. I mean, it's like, what if Pikmin were added to Lethal Company? Well, this is 2 hours long.
There's like a 7-minute trailer from a few days.
I think it's called Lethal
Okay.
Man.
Lethalman.
Yeah,
Okay, let's see.
it's beautiful. I think that one reminded me that mod thing you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh, let me. It'll fucking.
I want to do that. We should play that if we play any Friend Slop Lethal Man.
Okay.
Friend Slop.
I kind of want to play the hell out of this. I haven't played any of these kinds of games, but I do love Pikmin.
You don't know how perfect it was. The second time we used the mod, I think there was there's evil masks that can take you over in Lethal Company, and if that happens to you when you have Pikmin, your Pikmin become evil and they get like an evil around them, and they'll start attacking people.
Oh, do they become the Puffman?
Bulbman.
I know there's Bulbman also, but they just like your Pikmin just become evil.
Okay,
it's crazy.
That's good as hell. Look at them. Aw.
They make all the noises. They just fucking run. They make the hitting noise. It's a beautiful mod. It's
they got the bull. Oh, they got the bolt.
Yeah.
The bulb.
Yep.
Oh my
I
god.
saw one that had the other types. I guess not. Yeah.
Yeah, when you bring the freaking onions outside, they just fly away like Pikmin. So they just like fly away and then go back to your ship. Like
That's cute.
it's so well considered.
That's good as hell. That's good as hell. That's good as hell. I'm all right. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pick up Lethal Company, I guess, because I don't I don't own it. But yeah, no. Let's see here. Crystal, what else have you been up to? You've got some interesting games listed here. Some old games and something I haven't even heard of.
Yeah, I've been playing Yume Nikki online with a couple people, and
Yeah, since when was there a Yume Nikki online? I guess is.
I
Do you
don't
really
know.
believe there is a Yume Nikki online? I don't know, just a little anime.
I'm not sure how long this has been around, but you can go to the website and there are all sorts of different Yume Nikki fan games you can play. The one I've been playing is called Collective Unconscious.
Good name for that.
I like being in a virtual space, just soaking in the lights and the sound. And Yume Nikki Online is very good for doing that with a couple of people. Because I used to be a little bit of an RPG Maker person. I would just make maps and not publish them anywhere, but just sort of wander around myself in the maps I've made. And this brings me back to that type of experience.
It's nice. So yeah, what do you do exactly? Like, obviously, I'm not trying to be like, you know, like just what kind of things can you get up to in Yume Nikki Online?
You can walk. You can also run, but I prefer a slow walk.
Yeah.
You can observe. You can listen. You can occasionally find costumes that you can
Okay.
put on, and they might give you abilities, like the ability to burn things.
The effects and all that. Yeah.
Uh-huh. You might go to an art gallery and look at some art, and it will be saved into a system level gallery to look at later.
Huh.
You
Okay.
can talk to your friends. You can talk to strangers in the public chat. I haven't done that. That's too scary for me.
Yeah,
I think that's just scary in general.
That's about the order of things that you can do. I really do believe the fundamental aspect of games is observing and listening.
yeah. Like again, I'm not trying to those are the things that you do in Yumeniki standard, but now there's other people there, so you can talk to them. So makes sense to me.
Exactly.
That's cool. That's very cool. I might check that out because it's a fan thing. It's free. That sounds neat. And you want to wrap up your gaming conversation with one more thing?
Yes, I've also been playing Myst for the first time, a classic I've never played, playing it with two other people, like taking physical notes in the notebook.
Oh yeah.
I find it really rewarding to talk through a puzzle and suggest solutions and come to that eureka moment together.
Mhm.
That's why I really liked playing Blueprints with recently. I think it was just it's so much fun. Like I
Mhm.
understood why a lot of people were complaining about that game if they were playing it alone, but then if you're playing with another person, you just notice so much more.
Cool.
Multiplayer is so awesome, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
It's
There's a
nice
lot
when
you
there's
can
other
do with the
people.
power of collaboration.
You can talk. You can observe. Those are things you can do
Exactly.
with other people. Nicholas, is there anything else that you want to chat about? Not to put you on the spot per se, but just to be sure that I'm not skipping over anything that you wanted to discuss.
I really do not have anything from games that I feel would be interesting to talk about.
It's fine. Just
Like,
wanted to check. Um,
I got nothing.
I mean, all I really got to talk about is how I've just been getting more and more into Digimon cards. I don't know. Hey, everybody on the stream, look, I pulled the alternate art Chimeramon from the new set.
Wow.
It's
Oh,
hard to see it, but yeah, there you go. This is like worth $17 right now, and it'll probably go down in price because that's what happens,
How you
and that's
feeling
fine.
about Time Stranger, John? I've seen
Oh,
like
how am I feeling about Time Stranger? Yeah, the new game.
my friend went to a preview event for that, and they just keep talking about how it was so good. They just keep saying they really liked it.
It looks rad. Like I played through Cyber Sleuth recently because there's a new card set coming out, and I didn't want to get spoiled through the cards. Which was a very good idea on my part because they spoil fucking everything with those cards. It's just like it's crazy. But it looks like they said, okay, there was a cool concept for Cyber Sleuth, but it was also a very cheaply made game. Like you can very much tell it was a cheaply made game. And so they went, okay, we have a budget. We're gonna go for it. We're gonna let you ride your Digimon. We're gonna let you do all kinds of extra stuff and all these menus. It's just a cool RPG experience. It's real slick looking. It just looks great. I'm very excited about it. I'm super frustrated that it's coming out like a week before Legends ZA because I mean, I think like I feel like Time Stranger might end up being a better game, which like I'm not, I don't want to like the girls don't need to fight, I just accept everybody, but I want both of those games, and I'm just like, man, I'm gonna be playing two monster collectors at the same time, basically. It's too much. It's too much. This year is too much. But I'm very excited for Time Stranger. Very excited for it.
Yeah, for all the I understand the rightful doomsaying about games and things like related to the AAA series specifically. Every passing year, I'm like, please stop. There's too many games. There's too many more games that are really, really good, and it's getting
Mhm.
more insane every fucking year. I feel like.
Yeah. Um, let's see here. More news. let's see here. Okay, some goofy stuff that went on this past week. There has been some announcements for characters that are going to be playing, or people that are going to be playing characters in the new live action Street Fighter movie. Let's see here. All the people that have been confirmed so far. Andrew Koji will be Ryu, who I'm not familiar with. Andrew Koji. Let me see if there's what else. Oh, he was Storm Shadow in the Snake Eyes movie.
God, the Snake Eyes movie.
He was in Bullet Train. I know a lot of people like Bullet Train. Okay. Kalina Liang is going to be Chun-Li, who, let's see what she was in. Nothing I've ever heard of. Something called Tell Me Everything on TV.
Remember that Insane Chun-Li movie they made 15 years ago?
Oh yeah.
What the hell was that?
What the hell was that? But here's where it starts getting crazy. We've got Jason Momoa as Blanca, which I guess sure. We've got I'm gonna be honest. This is maybe one of the most inspired casting decisions I've ever heard. Is country singer Orville Peck is going to be Vega.
Yeah, sure.
That's pretty good. They have Joe Anoa'i, who you may know as WWE superstar Roman Reigns. I probably mispronounced that. I apologize, but yeah, Roman Reigns is going to be Akuma, which
makes sense.
That's
the man is the devil.
That's fucking insane to me. I can't imagine him as Akuma. You know, like maybe with his facial hair shaved, maybe I could see it. I don't know. But then the truly most wild casting is that 50 Cent, Curtis Jackson, the rapper, is going to be Balrog in this movie. Which is fucking crazy. I think there's some rumors that Walter Goggins is going to be Bison.
Oh my god.
Well,
it will once again be a terrible movie with an Bison.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think this movie is going to be good. This sounds like it's just going to be really campy. So it might be fun if they lean into it a little bit, or maybe even if they don't lean into it and then it just ends up being campy because it is what it is. I don't know. It's a very weird project, but some of those casting decisions are very funny and very fun. So I don't know. I mean, I'm probably not going to go rush out to see it in theaters, but
this is Paul W.S. Anderson directing, right? The Resident Evil guy.
Wait, is it?
That's what I'm reading here from VideoGamesChronicle.com. Yeah, I mean that's not a guy who makes good movies, but sometimes people like them.
I think our website's opinion, due to the Spirit of Nile living, that Resident Evil is actually very good.
Was Monster Hunter good?
No, that's one of the worst movies.
Yeah, that one was just bad. I've seen a lot of those Resident Evil movies, and some of them are very stupid and very fun to watch, though most of them are. Like, the only one that I would say is just kind of like it's just real boring to watch is the last one. And then yeah, Monster Hunter was also not really interesting or fun. I don't see anywhere else that's saying that he's tied to the Street Fighter. Let me. They might be them saying he's gonna do. Yeah, I'm not seeing anyone else saying that. I think they're just saying that Paul W.S. Anderson has done Capcom movies in the past. I think that's just what they're saying. So I don't think this has a director attached to it yet. But man, yeah, if they get Paul W.S. Anderson on there and it's just, oh my god, I kind of hope they do that. Oh boy. And then let's see. So one other bit of wacky news here. So it's less what actually happened that was wacky and more the reaction to it. Arc System Works had their summer showcase this past week. And for some reason, everyone thought that they were okay. You know what? It's not really that. If for some reason, it is Arc System Works is for the longest time has been a fighting game developer. You know, they are known for Guilty Gear and Blaze Blue and stuff like that. You know, they have other stuff that they've done, but this showcase was being hyped up by the FGC to be like, oh man, Daisuke Ishiwatari's announcing a new thing. Blaze Blue's coming back. It's time. And everyone was just hyped up for it. They thought they were going to talk more about the Marvel game. They thought maybe there's going to be a trailer for Lucy and Guilty Gear, all that stuff. And I don't think they talked about any fighting games at all.
Honestly, good. I think that fighting game players should be punished. They just fucking got a Marvel. They just
did.
fucking got it.
Uh-huh.
And also,
my character reveals.
See, here's my thing I want to ask, John. I'm baffled by this because I guess it's just reflecting that all gamers just desire new all the time. But all I see from fighting game people is complaining that games aren't being supported forever and ever, and that they should just be supported forever. But then they want a new one all the time?
Yeah.
I'd make it make sense.
That makes sense to me.
I mean, in this specific instance, I think the complaint is that I think people who like ArcSys games want something that's more
in line with the classic pre-Strive era.
Exactly. So they were hoping that Blaze Blue would be something like that. If they made a new Blaze Blue, that it would be more hardcore, basically. Because Strive is more... Yeah, more technical. Yes. They want something more technical as compared to Strive. And I mean, they're probably not going to do that, especially because Strive is like their most successful game ever. So they're just like, if they do bring back Blaze Blue, they're just going to be like, yeah. So here's one button combos, Strive. Everybody. Like,
we burned everyone's movesets to the ground.
Yeah, I don't know. It's such a weird, frustrating thing. I don't know.
My thing is, it's just like, I get that they're very fighting game oriented. Like, to me, Arc, maybe it's just because I play a lot of weird Japanese indie games that they get localized over here, but like ArcSys has always been a publisher to me more than a developer in terms of like, like, didn't they do The Missing years ago? I think
sounds right.
They've done like a bunch of stuff. Like, they used to do a ton of Vita games. I know the first time I heard about ArcSys, and it's like, yeah, of course they announced two weird things.
Yeah. So we'll just run through this real quick because it was short. The first thing they announced was Dear Me, I Was, which is an adventure game that is gonna... I think they just announced that it's Switch 2 exclusive so far. It is the artist of this game is Taisuke Kanasaki, who was the director and artist Hotel Dusk and Another Code and all that. He's just doing the art. It's being directed by Maho Taguchi, who I think is like a new name. I haven't found anything else that she worked.
The credits I see for her on Moby Games are game design management for Another Code Recollection and localization team for Hardcore Mecha.
All right. Okay, so, you know, not too much stuff, but I mean, that's cool that they, you know, have enough faith in a new director, I suppose.
Did you see the insane game that the Hotel Dusk writer is doing?
Yes.
On Steam?
It has so good.
The most incredible title I've ever heard in my life.
I forget what it's called, but I know
it is called Dark Auction: Hitler's Estate.
Yes, that's right.
And the thing I really like about it is that the description for the game does not say Hitler at any point. It just says Dictator X.
I wonder who it is.
It was an estate belonging to Dictator X.
Guess this animal, and it's like the elephant with the eyes covered. Yeah. I mean, it's just like a what? Like they're all like it's like a group of people at an auction over like a bunch of like Nazi treasures or whatever,
And then something happened.
and then something happens. But yeah, they also talked about that Double Dragon reboot that they're doing. It's just like the fourth Double Dragon reboot that they've done.
I
'Cause
just
they
remember when they were like, Xbox 360 Arcade, Double Dragon is back. And it's like, I feel like I've seen Double Dragon is back for the rest of my life after that happened.
Well, because the thing is that I feel like people dug Double Dragon Neon for the most
Yeah,
part.
yeah.
That's the one that you're talking about. And then they did Double Dragon 4, which was like in the style of an NES game, and like everyone fucking hated it. And then I think they did another Double Dragon reboot between that, and now they're doing another one.
Yeah.
Which, sure, whatever.
It's a
I don't know.
prestigious title, I guess. I mean, saying Double Dragon, just like, can't deny that. That's just what happened.
Yeah.
We'll make a new Double Dragon, and it goes,
Make a new
Double Dragon. I like the
Yeah.
sound of that. Okay.
Billy and Jimmy are back.
Oh, Billy and Jimmy.
Yeah, you know them.
Wow.
There's a game. They announced something called Demon's Night Fever, which they did not really say what exactly it was. They just said it is a racing speedrun simulation RPG based on the concept of, quote, embrace being evil. And it is from the Disgaea creator Sohei Nikawa. So it's got that vibe.
Embrace being evil, you say?
Whoa.
I mean, this guy. Have you ever played Disgaea 3, Crystal?
I've never played the Disgaea.
I think you should play Disgaea 3 if you ever do. Because that's the one where you play as the demon at the Demon Academy, and you just like are constantly harassing the hero and doing a bunch of stuff.
Now,
it has
is it the
fantastic
type of
vibes.
game that would try to convince me that actually the villain is more righteous than the hero?
I don't think so. I think it's really just a case of you're using mind control on a lot of people.
That's what I'm talking about.
This guy is
Yeah.
very goofy.
This guy loves to say that evil is good, I would say, broadly speaking.
Evil is good?
Well, like that they support evil. I mean good as a
Oh, okay, I
as
gotcha.
a
I
junction,
gotcha.
yeah.
It's like in this guy too, at least, which is the only one I've played so far, but I want to play another one soon. It's like your characters get better the more crimes you commit and like
Yeah.
evil trials that you go to and crimes that are put on your permanent record. And it's the whole like style is just how much of an evil villain demon can your characters be.
How much chaos can you sow? Which sort of leans into the angle of that game leveling.
It would be a lot more endearing if the game, if at least this Gaia 2 wasn't written like that.
Yeah.
There's a Bubble Bobble game with roguelike elements, which
I watched that. It was fascinating. A fascinating trailer for that.
It's bizarre.
That sounds kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's bizarre, but it could be fun. I don't know.
I think my problem was looking at it is it has that cheap 3D art style, which is really holding it back. Whereas like I went to Round 1 semi recently near me, and they have a beautiful, beautiful puzzle bobble machine, and that art,
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, this art style is not great, but I think single screen
Gameplay wise,
platformer is a good fit for roguelike.
Yeah, I agree. I think gameplay wise, I was very into. I was just looking at it. I was like, ugh.
A .emu and who else is working? Guard Crush is making another roguelike thing, Absolum, which has a demo actually. I'm just seeing that. I guess this got a demo because it says it's a Steam Next Fest thing. Interesting. It's a roguelike beat 'em up, which, that could be pretty fun. Like Guard Crush and .emu do good stuff, so hey, it sounds like that would be a pretty cool. Yeah, it's their first like solo IP, because like yeah, everything else they've done is like, oh yeah, here's Streets of Rage, and they did Windjammers 2 and all that. So an actual their own IP. That's good for them. And then the last thing they announced, which is where they brought Daisuke out, made this big long speech that I completely agree with, talking about how there's not really anything these days that are in between AAA and indie, that there should be opportunity here. I'll just read the quote here.
But
I'm sorry.
that's people like to say that even though it's not true at all.
I think the problem, it's really like the threshold of indie, right? Is the problem right now. It's like, what does indie mean? And the answer is, right now, indie means a person who does a single developed game completely on their own without any funding, and also publish a developer with 16 people who gets picked up and has several $1 million at their disposal. Like that is the whole branch of indie now. There isn't like an established. There aren't a lot of established secondary publishers like it's Focus Interactive, Saber, I guess Owlcat just got in, but especially in Japan, I think the intermediary is low. You either get with Square Enix for a weird deal, or who knows what happens.
Yeah, yeah, that's probably more what he means. But they said, hey, we're gonna make this game called Damon and Baby, which is an isometric action game where you're a demon king with a baby on you, and they didn't really say too much about it, but yeah, that was the game that everyone thought was going to be a new Blaze Blue, so everyone got pissed as fuck about Damon and Baby.
All right, I'm imagining a guy I made up in my head, an unreasonable person who is watching this, wants a new Blaze Blue, and is getting really pissed off that it's an isometric action game. And I am psychically directing all of my hate towards this guy I made up in my head. Fuck you. Why are you so dismissive of this isometric action game? What's your problem, man?
Who do you think you are? I am. You gotta get into the Tulpa mindset. Like,
did we?
I don't know. It worked well for him. He did pretty well bowling. So
it's true.
Sure.
He did.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I think it looks pretty boring from what they've shown, but the thing that I sat there and was thinking about was like, I was when Daisuke Shotari started talking about that stuff, I started to imagine a sort of like I think that ArcSys should do something that's like character actiony kind of, or just like but I think that they are too scared to do that because of Guilty Gear Overture. I think that because people reacted weird to that, I think they're scared of that. But the reason why people didn't like that was because it was a fucking MOBA. So
I think even that there's potential, because Blaze Blue Continuum Shift is that what it's called? The roguelike?
They have a side scroller roguelike Blaze Blue game. Yeah. But they have nothing to do with it. Like ArcSys isn't
they
involved
didn't
with it at
develop
all.
that. Yeah, that was I forgot. Yeah. Oh my.
I don't know. It's I fully believe that they're just scared to do it because of Guilty Gear Overture, and I mean, the thing is, just people have been like kind of turning around on that game too. Like, I've heard people be like, actually, no, this is kind of a cool game, especially because you can buy it for like $2 now on Steam.
That's the long changer of history. I think we were just talking about that with. It's like, yeah, you can reapproach Resident Evil. Great, because you didn't buy it for $60.
Yeah, and I mean, there's also the fact that this isn't what the series became. Like, especially, like, I bet a lot of people were really scared because that game is called Guilty Gear 2. So people were like, oh, fuck. Like, this is just Guilty Gear now? What? Okay. And then it wasn't. So now people can look back at it and be like, okay, yeah, here's this weird little fun thing, instead of, oh, God, we're never going to be able to play a 2D fighting game ever again. It's just... It's bizarre. Yeah, it's exactly like RE6, where like once 7 came out and 8 and all that, now it's just like, okay,
yeah,
we can accept this weird bit of the past.
I will say I do with Crystal's invented character, who is all too real, I feel like, in the online spaces. I always hate that mindset of just like people start just you see it with the Game Awards all the time, where it's like there'll be like a bunch of sometimes they're bad projects, but sometimes there's just like a bunch of indie projects. I remember like there was that game that was about the adventure game about the deaf girl or whatever, where you play as a deaf character and go around or whatever, and it was people going like, I thought it was going to be Half-Life 3, fuck this, like, and it's just like, like, what is wrong with you, man? Are you crazy?
Yeah, it's frustrating. It's very frustrating.
We're so much better than they are.
That's right, our side is just.
Fuck them,
We're a lot more
guys.
open-minded.
We're smart.
I do just think I think people should just try to work outside their comfort zones more, Hey, fighting game person who's sad about there not being a new Guilty Gear, how about you try a new game you haven't tried before?
There's other fighting games, like, at the very
There's a
least.
lot. There's a lot of fighting games.
Some may argue too many.
Yep.
All right. Last bit of news here. And Rose, I'm going to kind of hand this off to you because you're the expert on
I'm the expert now, I guess.
You're an expert on like weird Minecraft-like games that become too big for their britches,
That's true, you are.
I guess that's unfortunately true somehow. Yeah, so Hytale was canceled, and I would say that the entire studio of Hypixel Studios was shut down this week by Riot. Hytale, if you didn't know, is a Minecraft-like that was being developed again by that studio under Riot, and it has been in development for 10 years, I think. And this is not surprising in the slightest, because I don't think it should take 10 years to release a Minecraft game. That's my controversial opinion, especially with a reported budget of over $200 million. I looked into a lot of stuff around this because I had heard of Hytale when it was announced years ago, because it was announced alongside like stuff like Trove, which has gone free to play since weird situations, whatever, stuff like that. But this game never looked like a real video game. I'm going to be honest with you. Its trailer has like 60 million views on YouTube, which is an insane amount. But it's like, if you watch that trailer, it looks like the most unbelievable game of all time. Like, there are like...
I had never heard of this before, and I watched the trailer once the cancellation announcement came out, and I was just like, this looks like something that would be on an episode of Law and Order.
It's like, not only visually does it look like that, but like also just like in terms of mechanics and what it was promising to do. It was like, hey, we're going to have like modding that's better than Minecraft's modding, and it's like, that's pretty ambitious because Minecraft's modding stuff is pretty complicated and like requires a lot of stuff. And they were talking about things like, yeah, you'll be able to fight trolls that are like ripping out parts of the procedurally generated terrain at you, and it's like, okay, do you know how insane that is? Do you know how insane that was in like 2015 when you're saying this is going to be in a game specially? Like, the funniest thing I learned when looking into the game was mainly that apparently this game had been rebooted several times because Roblox got big 5 years ago, right? So then once Roblox started getting big, they were like, we need to reapproach this and go in at a Roblox more. But then apparently, I had no idea about this. I have never even heard of these leaks. Apparently there was leaks suggesting they were making Minecraft 2 like a year and a half ago. And apparently that freaked out everyone at Riot Management. And they were like trying to get them to change the game again, is what I was reading. Which is, I didn't even know there were Minecraft 2 leaks. I've never even heard of this. So it sounded like someone heard an insane thing at a bar type energy or something. But I don't know. This game never looked real, is my biggest thing. I don't understand how they were able to get away. I feel bad for the people who worked on it, obviously. I'm sure they were doing real work, like genuinely. It's not the type of thing where you're just going to an office and doing nothing by any stretch, but I don't know how 10 years happens. I don't know how 10 years of making a Minecraft game and having one playable beta happens. Like, one?
Yeah. I saw some talk that the like original owner is trying to like crowdfund buying the rights back or whatever, which
Yeah,
sounds kind of crazy because again, like they spent how much on that game?
an obscene amount. Like when I was looking into it from the various news, it sounded like the budget, the like over 200 million. Like I said, like that's which is pretty standard AAA, but
Right.
for this amount of years, but still like. Ugh.
What's going on? Why is it like what it's
Just the
I don't know.
idea that there hadn't been like any real playable
No.
showcase in quite
Yeah.
some time is
I'd
that.
never heard of this. Like this is this huge thing that Riot hopped on, and like I've heard of all those like little League of Legends games that they like. I mean, I hadn't like looked into them, but I had at least heard of them. They had like talked about them on streams and stuff, but
Which
no.
makes you think like, what was there, right? If they never
Yeah.
talked about it, like, was there ever anything?
Mhm. Very
The
strange.
narrative that this official blog post is presenting is that they scoped way too big, and like they could have scoped down, but that would have compromised the
The
idea.
vision, yeah.
And you kind of need to have a big idea if your goal is to dethrone Minecraft.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know if lacking extensive playtesting, I think, is the big thing that gets me here. Is if you're trying to make something like Minecraft, like Roblox didn't take over overnight, and neither did Fortnite. It was the type of thing of once you had a lot of playtests and a lot of people playing that game, then it morphed into the kind of game that became the, trendsetter, the evaluator. Like
Mm.
Minecraft was very popular, but also Minecraft was built upon like the backs of stuff like Infiniminer and other games that were already doing what Minecraft did,
Mhm,
and
mhm,
Minecraft just perfected it. So it's
mhm,
like if you're going to create this new thing, it's like you need the experience of seeing how people would actually engage with it and learn from their behaviors. And
mhm,
I'm not getting the vibe that they did that. I'm getting the vibe that they probably had QA testers, obviously, and they probably had playtest groups, but you need a broader audience. Besides just the people, when I look up this stuff, it's like, oh, there were hightail YouTubers who would only post Hightail that would get invited to Hightail events, because of course that guy is going to say Hightail looks good, right? Like
yeah.
you see that a lot in indie spaces with a lot of games of
Mhm,
people talking about how like you can't invite like your friends to come over and willingly like play test and critique your indie game because they're probably going to just tell you it's really good.
mhm. Yeah. Very weird.
But yeah, I mean this one I would understand people going a little crazy. I think I would say, because the amount of money behind this, like this was like a Riot game,
Mhm.
after a while. And it's like I
Yeah.
could understand being like, what could this have been? But
Mhm.
I don't know because they never showed it.
Bizarre. Just bizarre. All right. Then we're almost done here. If you want to, let's do questions. Let's do questions. If you want to send in a question, you can go to your email client of choice and go to podcast@gamesline.net as the send or the recipient, and you can send a question that way. Or you can go to our Discord server, which is the gamezone.zone, and there is a little thread where you can send a question in there as well. First off, from Cello Buster, the main character of the most recent video game you played is your defense attorney. Are you going to jail?
Should have played off the devil before this.
I mean, you should have just played of the devil. Full stop. You know. I mean, I have been playing Raido and Uma Musume, so I don't know. I mean, is there a main character of Uma Musume? Like, that's just
You
you,
could
I
just be
guess.
like you're the horse you used in the career mode, right?
The horse that I use in the career mode is like 3 feet tall and can't and has ADHD. So if that's happening, I'm fucked. I absolutely think Raido could get me out of any situation
Rido would get
whatsoever. So
anything, yeah.
yeah, for sure.
I just need you to list the names of the horses that are going to be defending you in court, John, please, if you could.
Okay, I don't remember the name. Hang on, I'm gonna. I don't.
You don't even remember your
I've been-
beautiful.
You don't even
I've
remember
been-
your horse's name? Oh
This
my
guy
been
doesn't
jumping-
god.
his
No
horses.
wonder you're not winning.
Oh my god, I've been jumping through a bunch of characters. Okay, I gotta pull. I'm pulling up. Hang on, let me see what this girl's name was. The last one that I did a run of. Oh my god, please load. Oh my god, which one was this? Hang on. Haru Urara. That is who I played as.
He's very
She kind of
anxious.
sucked. I'm not gonna lie. She kind of sucked. Yeah, she had ADHD. Was just running around, could not focus. It was hard to train her, and that's why I lost. How about you, Nicholas? What it was the Undertale Yellow character?
Yeah, so I got a child that doesn't talk at all with a gun as my defense. So
But do you
I
think
think
they would make a difference anyway?
maybe them being a child with a gun in a courtroom would distract everyone enough for me to, like, I don't know, sneak out of there and
Flip
not have
out?
to worry about it. I'm not
Okay.
getting defended though.
Would it just start an Undertale battle? Like as soon as like you go up for prosecution, it's just like it does it, and then it like transitions into a battle. Yeah,
Yeah, I have to fight the judge. It'll like he slams the hammer down
you have
on
to
the
fight the
sides of the
attorney.
box. It makes shock waves that are like orange or blue that cover the whole thing, and I have to move to dodge them.
Rose, how about you?
So it's either, I'm gonna be honest, both of these are pretty dire. It's like it's either Ritas from Death Stranding,
Mm-hmm.
in which case
Mm.
I'm gonna be honest, I believe the man can get things done. I do not think a court of law
No.
is his place of
No.
accomplishment.
No.
I don't even
No,
know
he-
if talking in general is his accomplishment, to be honest.
He didn't want to be around all that bureaucracy. That's the whole point.
Yeah, that's the
That's
whole
true.
reason he left. He was the man who delivers. So I could go either way. I'm gonna say with Norris, I could honestly go somehow pulls something off, but I really believe he would just he would do the thing where he starts to talk and then he just goes, he puts his hand down on the table and gets up and leaves. Like that's probably what he would do.
It could also just be the thing that happens a lot in Death Stranding 2, where a whole bunch of people talk around him and he just kind of like emotes and doesn't really say anything.
Yeah.
Which is, it feels
Maybe
like
he would succeed if that happened. Like,
maybe.
you don't know.
Maybe. I mean, people seem to like him a lot.
And then if it was Uma Musume, which I also played, it would be Agnes Tachyon, and I would be fucked because that woman's insane. That would just be over. They would put me in jail for more crimes somehow.
That's true. Yeah, they would find something else to put you in there for. Crystal, go ahead.
I just want to say one thing about Agnes Tachyon from Musume that I forgot to say. My favorite line in that whole thing is when you're training her, she just ignores you half the time and just like fucks off. And there's this part where like you keep going to the training area and the other horse girls are like, who's that weird person hanging out at the track? I don't even think they're a real trainer. What a weirdo and a loser. And I was like, the energy of this is fascinating. You picked the wrong horse. Like, I love that they
really
captured the experience of you picked the wrong fucking horse.
Pick the wrong horse. Crystal, how about you?
The last game I booted up was Dragon Stomper, and
Oh, you love Dragon Stomper.
the Dragon Stomper mostly lives in a lawless land, but the one interfacing that they do with the law is they can take identification papers off a corpse to present it to a border guard. So I guess in a court of law, with the Dragon Stomper as my lawyer, their strategy would be to try to prove that I'm a different person. That's not me. I didn't do that. It wasn't
I
me.
think that could work.
I guess since you were replying, Scott, do you want to say yours? That motherfucker doesn't talk. Sure.
So you
I just
have a
realized I was
gaggle of
muted
children
on
behind
the
you
off the
defending
thing.
you.
Yeah, no, sorry, I was saying, sorry, I was muted on the stream. Yeah, no, I was saying, other than Death Stranding, I've been playing Pokemon Violet, and, that kid doesn't talk, but we do have all of his beautiful friends. So I know if I went to court and that child walked up in his little his little school outfit and just like show and just like and just like did a little like threw one of his little Pokeballs out, and then out came who's a great Pokemon to defend you in court. That's it. Ooh.
Any psychic type?
Any psychic type. I guess it would have just been like Meowscarada? That's the one? Yeah, that's the
You're
one I've
going
been
to jail
using.
if it's Meowscarada. I'm telling you that
No.
for free.
Yeah, I guess that wouldn't really
Maybe you
defend
want the
me
gay
super
duck.
well. Maybe I want the gay duck.
Maybe.
I go up for my defense and he just starts dancing. And then he
Like,
does
alright,
then he does a spin kick and then everyone goes crazy.
The judge
Yeah.
is like, "Sir, this is the worst Pokemon design ever. I give it a 0 out
Wow.
of 10. You're going to jail."
Wow.
Crazy.
Wow. What are you? A Sprigatito fan? Loser. They
Anyways,
start arguing about Pokemon designs.
I'm going to jail.
Okay. Alright, our last question here is from Solon, who asks, I've been seeing horse posting for the last 2 months in response to Umumusume coming soon. Can you explain what things y'all saw pre-release that may have helped make this strange gacha game into an immediate overnight success? I mean, it's just because it has been a presence for a really long time. Like
it's
they
like
had
5 years old is the
Yeah.
real reason. It's the
the
same
game has
reason
been
why
around in
Pikachu
Japan.
did well.
The game has been around in Japan for ages, and it's gotten a lot of hype from just being around and hitting all that.
The anime
And
also.
the anime.
There was an anime this season, but also there was an anime last for it. I think for the second
Mhm.
season, that was like, I mean, if you watch that anime and you just see they start with the fucking Easter Island heads, but they have horse girl ears, and it says horse girls have existed since the beginning of time. And you understand why people are like, all right,
Mhm.
all right, all right.
Mhm, mhm,
I
mhm.
think the other thing too is like any major like free video game that comes out that has any kind of budget behind it is gonna get downloaded and people are gonna play
Yeah.
it. So especially one that's been out for a while and is now getting an English translation. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
You can't
I
beat
guess
free.
I guess the interesting
beat
thing
free.
is that people have been pretty much just praising Umumusume, and there's the big Persona 5 gotcha that came out, and literally everything is just everyone is just making jokes about the fucking Subway Slammer.
the Subway
You know,
Slammer.
so
That's the only
you
thing
know.
I've heard about that game, other than it's like
Exactly.
it's alt Persona. I don't even really know what the game is. It's an
Yeah.
It's just
RPG, right?
Persona 5. Yeah, I played it. I can tell you,
Okay.
it's just Persona 5, like down to the choreography and the way you move around that world.
Sure.
They just made Persona.
So
But you pull
strange.
for Joker sometimes, but only Joker. You just get the other party members normally. It reminded me of the Chrono Trigger guy made a game called Another Eden,
Mhm.
like
I remember
years and
Another
years
Eden,
ago.
yes.
Yeah, and Another Eden was another one where it's just like the gotcha system just felt like it was there for like weird collaboration characters, but then
Yeah.
like you get all the other party members normally, like it's a normal ass JRPG, and that's what this feels like to me so far. Is it's like you're just getting all the party members normally, like they're having their Persona awaken moments and shit, and then it's like also you could pull for Joker, I guess.
Weird.
Yo, I can play
Well-
Persona 5, but without any artistic integrity of the original, and like in the 10 years after it released in the drought of Persona 5 spin-offs. Yeah,
They
not
just
drought.
didn't have many options
Flood.
in China, you know.
Well,
Persona
unfortunately,
5 has artistic integrity?
It probably
Yeah,
did
so
at one
Jiro
point.
is an old man, and I love him. That's the artistic integrity.
I was just gonna say, unfortunately, they've already done their Persona 5 collab, so it's only got a
Yeah,
few months
1 year
left.
left.
Yeah, it's
That's
it's
true,
on the
that's
way
true.
out.
I mean, my approach to Persona 5 X the Phantom, or whatever the full title is like, yeah, Persona 4 was also a reskin of Persona 3, and Persona 5 shook up the aesthetic a little bit more, but it is also still kind of Persona 3 again. So why not make another Persona 5?
Yeah.
Sure.
I would say I was impressed by how much it was just like I cannot stress enough how much it's like the exact choreography, the same music, everything. So it was just like this feels weird playing it. I was like, this feels so weird to play like weird fake Persona 5.
Persona 5X is to Persona 5 as
Yeah.
Deltarune is to Undertale.
But even then, like
John shaking his
Deltarune
head.
is like
Sorry.
structurally different. Like I cannot stress
Mm.
this is you talk to the damn doctor on the same amount of days passed and everything. Like outside, like it's the same doctor. But I don't it's an owl instead of a cat.
Well, yeah, it's because Persona 5 is popular, and if we're making a new game with a new cast, we want to change
No,
as little as we can.
It's just
Not
so
as popular
scary.
as horses. That's what I'm
It's
hearing.
easy,
That's fine.
guys. Come on.
Honestly, I would tell you, I think the Persona 5 gacha game would be crazy popular if it had an English dub. I think that's the main thing killing it. I think when you go to Uma Musume, you're fine with the Japanese dub because it's called fucking Uma Musume, first of all. But I think in the West specifically, I would say Persona got its popularity because it had decent English dub.
Absolutely. All right. Let's see here. We don't really have anyone in the chat right now, so we'll just wrap this up here. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out when folks were hanging out. Thank you for listening, everybody. We have our website, gamesline.net. You can go to that website, check it out. We've got articles and news and reviews and stuff like, well, not really news that much, but reviews and articles and stuff like that. We have our Twitter at the Gamesline. Not using it as much, I suppose, but it's there. Blue Sky is where we're normally at, gamesline.net on there. Tumblr, gamesline.tumblr.com, Facebook, YouTube, youtube.com/@thegamesline, and twitch.tv/gamesline.tv. If you want to watch these getting recorded live, if you are listening to the podcast feed, you could do so on there, 5 p.m. CST every Sunday. We have our Patreon, patreon.com/gamesline. Hop on there, give us $3 a month. It helps us out so much. It really does. We want to upgrade more stuff, so please, it will help us a lot if you give to the Patreon.
Hit me with that
Discord.
Patreon link again, John.
Patreon.com/gamesline.
That's right. If you like the RuneScape piece, you like the Shinri interview, you like all this stuff, give us a tip.
That's right. Yeah, if you like any of the stuff that we've been doing, it helps a lot. Please. Our Discord is thegamezone.zone. Type that into your web browser to bring you straight there. You can hang out with us. You can tell us what you think about what's been going on. You can tell us, hey, it's a good way to make sure that you're up to date with what we've been posting. And thank you to Melt Channel/Magic Circuit for our theme song Crush off of the album Magic is Real. If you want to listen to their stuff, it's meltchannel.bandcamp.com and magic-circuit.bandcamp.com. I've been hearing more talk that that they're thinking about making more stuff. So we'll see how that goes. Where can people find you, Nicholas?
You can find me on Blue Sky on @sursicactus.bluesky.social. Though I mostly just draw girls there.
That's that's a popular thing to do on many
So I've
websites.
heard.
Yes. Crystal, where can people find you?
Arcane Crystal on Blue Sky. Listen to Eidolon Playtest.
Okay. Rose, how about you?
I am Fata Morgana on Blue Sky.
Oh hell yeah!
Hey,
Anything else?
Horn Gal on Twitter.
Okay.
I post on both.
Just making sure. Scott, since you're here, where can we find you?
Hello. I'm FKA Socks everywhere. FKA Socks on Twitter, FKA Socks on Blue Sky, FKASocks.com technically. Twitch.tv/FKA Socks. This Friday, July 4th, Politics Stream 2 Decision Gate 2025. We're gonna have another election stream. Last year it was Can Boys and Girls Be Friends? This year we haven't released the topic yet, but it'll be there.
Just as scary a question, you know.
As horrifying as can possibly be, yeah.
Yes. And you can find me at john.gamesline.net on Blue Sky. And that's kind of it. But thank you so much for listening, everybody. We will be back next week with another brand new episode of the Gamesline podcast. We'll see you then.
Whoa.